just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
What you gonna do, brother? I had to, the Monty Show, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365. And it won't cost you a dime. As the Advocates, I tell you all the time, always raising money. Get on Venmo, Advocates Donations. They're working with the Road Home to raise money for homeless kids to have basic necessities to go back to school. I know we've talked about it for weeks on the show. You guys have given a lot. If you've got it in your wallet and you've got it in your heart, make a donation to the Advocates. Advocates Donations on Venmo. Hulk Hogan's dead, brother. An icon. And this is an interesting conversation today on Twitter. There is no question that Hulk Hogan, what he did in the squared circle, what he did for me as a kid, as a professional wrestler, this moment right here, where he is body slamming Andre the Giant. And I think I was probably 12 years old when that had to 13 years old, maybe. Like, what was that? 86, 87, something like that. I was fired up. I loved every minute of it. I remember watching it. I remember just being in awe of Hulk Hogan. I remember being a much older adult when he went NWO for life, brother. I remember the Hulkster, but unfortunately, I also remember this version of Hulk Hogan. And I remember him being scandal-ridden. And on the day that Hulk Hogan dies after a reported cardiac arrest at his home in Florida, at the age of 71, what will his legacy be? Because if you do a simple Google search for Hulk Hogan, all of the heinous stuff comes up. The sex tape, and if you don't know that story, he was recorded having, how shall we say, physical interaction with another woman, during which he was recorded using the N-word to describe men dating his daughter. He was kicked out of the WWE. He was essentially ostracized. His kid and he had this, reality TV show that was over. Then his son got into a terrible car accident. Like, it was all straight downhill. They go through a divorce. He marries or gets together with a woman who looks like his daughter. Like, it's just strange. Hulk Hogan as a human being was probably not a role model. As a wrestler, as a guy from the 80s, Hulk Hogan, there's no doubt, wrote and formed the sports landscape in this country for over a decade. And what is your knowledge of, or what was your exposure to Hulk Hogan?
Not very much, I'll be honest with you. I don't have all those memories. I don't have the, the experience with all the drama that he went through. I mean, obviously I know who Hulk Hogan is, like
the Hulkster, please.
Yeah, the Hulkster. You see the action figures,
brother,
in the posters, and just all that stuff. And I think that, I have to say, you know, as a youngster, like wrestling wasn't always on in the house I grew up in. So, and I never really got exposed to it. And so it's kind of this thing where, like, for me, like, yeah, I know who he is. Like, I know what he did. You know, I obviously know some of the negative stuff that happened with him, but I don't have that firsthand, you know, was watching the news when it happened experience with it.
Right. I think the interesting thing about Hulk Hogan is he's invisible to millennials. Millennials and younger, like your Gen Zs, zero. But anybody like me, a Gen Xer or older, Hulk Hogan was an icon of the 80s and 90s. And then the whole Gawker media thing. And yeah, I mean, you just look at how his life spiraled. It's not unlike all these other professional wrestlers, brother.
And they haven't been on a good run either. I mean,
No, a lot of professional wrestlers die young. They do not live healthy lifestyles, especially in that decade or in that generation. You had a lot of steroid use. You had a lot of physical beating. You look at what Ric Flair has gone through. Ric Flair on social media today crying his eyes out. Like, it just is one of those things where it depends on how you choose to look at Hulk Hogan. Was he an entertainment icon and a professional wrestling juggernaut, an actor of TV and movie? Like, I mean, the guy had America. He was America. He was Captain America. Like, he was that guy. And then the whole sex tape thing and the daughter thing and the N-bomb thing, it just is so strange to me that, again, I think Hulk Hogan, while not a good human being, right? I don't think there's anybody who would confuse Hulk Hogan with a good person.
Right.
If social media never existed, Hulk Hogan would be an icon and would probably be alive today. One of the first things I was saying when we found out that he was dead today was I have to believe that the sex tape Gawker media scandal took years off his life. I mean, you look at the picture of Hulkamania running wild on the witness stand, that looks like a dude that's wearing some stress.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's a very different guy here, right? That's a very different guy here. That's a very different guy here or here even. Right. And I just think that it's really unfortunate that he became a cartoon character. That's really the unfortunate part. The last 5 years of his life, he was invisible. Nobody was thinking or talking about him.
Yeah, I think it's a classic case of, like, you know, like when Kobe passed away, like everyone wanted to bring up the Eagle, Colorado thing. And, like, you know, anytime someone passes, like, all of the sins from their life, if you will, you know, come back to the spotlight. The problem is some people have more egregious ones than others. And I think that, you know, it's difficult. It's a generational thing. He was one of those guys, like anybody who was like massively famous in like the 80s, you know, is going to have a hard time resonating with millennials because we weren't, you know, we really didn't start like remembering stuff until, you know, the mid to late 90s and 2000s. Like, I mean, you know, you think about it, like I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s. Like, it's not like I wasn't.
Isn't that funny how different? I'm 20 years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
And my exposure to just a completely different universe. Like, if you were born in the 70s or 80s, your life is 100% different just based on what you were exposed to in the 70s or 80s versus people born after like 1990. I think our lives are completely different, whether that is cell phone and social media, the way we watched movies, going to the movies, like going out to eat, like everything is different.
Yeah, I think that the way I like to say it is like life was just so much simpler. Like there was a simplicity to the day to day. Like there was still a lot of stuff happening in the world, but I think that like it just my understanding of it, having not lived it, but just, looking at history is like, yeah, obviously the cell phone wasn't there, but I think there's a lot of things like the cell phone that us as millennials don't really even understand.
Professional wrestling is one of those.
Wrestling is one of those
Do you
things.
understand what this moment meant to America? And I think people will think I'm being hyperbolic, or I am not at all. I am 51, 52 years old, whatever. I don't even know how old I am. I am 50. How old am I? 52 years old right now. Good Christ. I am 52 years old. What this moment meant to America is nothing short of unbelievable. It is nothing short of unbelievable. And I think it is remarkable how when you look at the way that the game is played now, it's completely different. I think this brought Americans together. I think this match, what it was built up to be, that was Andre the Giant. He was too big and he was going to smash the American icon. And then when I'll never forget, you guys, I liken it to the Bears winning the Super Bowl. I mean, it was in that window of time. It had to be like 85, 86 when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. Right. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And if you're my age and you remember that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think it propelled the WWF and the world of wrestling forward, right? And even then when he turned heel in NWO, right? Like I had all the action figures, dude, and I was a full-on adult.
Yeah.
It's 1998, 99. I was a full-on adult. I had an NWO t-shirt, right? Like I used to start my radio show with Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, which is what Hulk Hogan walked out to. Like he was a phenomenon. But when the whole sex tape thing happened, and I think even worse than that was the jail. Wasn't there like he was visiting his son in jail? His kid's name was like Nick Hogan, had gotten into a car accident where somebody had gotten killed, I believe. And wasn't there a recording of him being racist on a jailhouse phone? Like, I think it just ruined his life.
Yeah, I think it's hard because like I mean, I'll be honest, like, and I'm happy if I take you for it. Like, it just isn't something that like all those memories you have of it and all those experiences that you have with it, I don't have them. That for me is probably what was the Moises Alou, Steve, Bartman ball play for the Cubs?
Yeah,
that's my, what was that? I think that was 06, I believe it was. That's my, hey, I was a lot. That was like my first major, holy crap, this happened. And I was watching the game when it happened, moment that I can remember, feeling yeah, the Cubs just lost a chance to go to the World Series.
What is your earliest sports memory?
Mine
is watching Lakers and Celtics as a kid. I must have been 8, 9 years old. That's the first vivid one. But I remember, everybody thinks I'm crazy. I remember my mom carrying me into Wrigley Field as a toddler. I remember sitting in the seats at Wrigley Field in my mom's lap. But if it's vivid, it's me and my brother watching Lakers and Celtics back in the early 80s. That's probably my first one.
Yeah, I mean, mine's probably being in the dugout at Wrigley that one time that you took me.
Yeah.
I sometimes dream about that. But I don't have
when you were terrified of Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, I was terrified of Sammy Sosa for literally no reason.
Yeah.
But I just was. My earliest sports memory is probably that Cubs moment, but I will say that I was a kid that would get up really early. I was always up at 6 or 6:30. I just was somebody who was an early riser and would always go down, get my cereal, and turn SportsCenter on. That was when I didn't have school, even on the days I did have school, because SportsCenter ran early.
Yeah.
You could always get it. So like that was my sort of thing.
So different.
Like I remember all the heavy hitters from SportsCenter and just the music, and like I there are times, it's pretty rare now, but there are times where I'll wake up from a dream and be like, yep, there's a SportsCenter song from when I watched it, like, and you remember that, like that's like unfortunately I didn't get the luxury of the Jordan era in the NBA.
But you also didn't ever understand the fear of Russian nukes. You didn't understand what America versus the world. You didn't understand Lake Placid and Team USA beating Russia. Like when it was the USA versus the world, that was what Hulk Hogan represented.
Yeah, my stuff was much more the Team USA, the Kobe Team USA teams. Certainly, Michael Phelps was a defining sports figure for millennials, for sure.
Of course.
The Lance Armstrong saga in cycling. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to appreciate Tiger at that time. And I wish I had, honestly, because he was doing great at that time, but it just wasn't a thing. And unfortunately, or fortunately, my sports fandom as a kid was definitely go to school, come home, have the Cubs on. And then, holidays with the NFL, the Bears always plan Thanksgiving. So, like, that was kind of my thing. I never got the chance to either, like, go to the sporting event all that much, or, like, I just had those core things that I always watched.
I just think Hulk Hogan played such an important part in my childhood. And I was such a big wrestling fan. I've told this story. My brother jumped off of a radiator back in, like, I think 1984, because we would watch. Do you guys remember, if you're my age, you remember WWF was on every Saturday morning, and you would wake up and much like you'd have your cereal, do whatever, and wrestling was on. We had those radiators as a kid, and my brother jumped off a radiator and broke my collarbone when we were wrestling, right? Like, I was a huge Tito Santana fan, like Hulk Hogan. It's just one of those things where it's very interesting how different sports and life is for different generations. And Hulk Hogan, and I'm probably into the media and the news too much, but Hulk Hogan, I don't think you could talk about Hulk Hogan without talking about the sex tape, without talking about his fall from grace. As much as I tend to agree, I have like a hair like wrecking my face right now.
So terrible.
But I think when you look at the Kobe example is a really good one, but you bring up like this NFLPA scandal. Jake is texting me,
bro.
Jake is all about the info dump on this NFLPA thing,
bro. Dude.
So the executive director of the NFL Players Association, who is now resigned from his regular job. Like, it turns out that you can't use union money to pay for strip clubs in multiple cities.
What?
And you really shouldn't ask somebody to repaint one parking spot, to make two parking spots one parking spot and assign it to you so people won't door ding your union paid for car.
And the two parking spots happen to be numbered. And he chose, what was it?
32.
32.
After O.J. Simpson. Like, what?
So you're paying homage to Oj. You're looking like a douche for trying to create one big parking spot for your Cayenne Turbo. And yeah, it turns out that you were expensing, strip club costs, and you're now being investigated for allegedly helping the major different sports groups the different leagues, pay for other businesses outside of the league, allegedly. So
it's wild.
it is one of the most insane things that I have ever heard.
But I bring that up to say you can pretty much pick a male figure in the last 10 years, and they probably have a sex scandal. OJ's a great example of that. Kobe's a great example of that. Magic Johnson's a great example of that. Tiger Woods, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. I'm like, you name it. It feels like guys like Hulk Hogan aren't guys like Hulk Hogan without a sex scandal.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, that's going to be a huge part of his legacy because, again, I was looking for photos of the Hulkster today, and I just Google searching his name. It's all sex scandal, sex tape, Bubble the Love Sponge and his wife, and it's horrendous. And it's really unfortunate. And if you're just tuning in, we are talking about the death of Hulk Hogan, died today at 71. TMZ Sports is reporting that he had what amounts to a heart attack at his home in Florida. And he passed away. And apparently the emergency response was massive. Like TMZ was, I think it was somebody was interviewing on Twitter the residents of his neighborhood. And they were saying like the streets were shut down for a good long while. And there were so many ambulances and so many EMTs there trying to save him. Like it's pretty remarkable, but I do wonder what you guys think. And I would love to hear your earliest memories of sports. Like, what is your first? There's a couple for me, obviously, as a real young kid, like meeting Leon Durham of the Chicago Cubs at Kodak Photo Day was unbelievable for me. Like, I'll never forget that guy putting his arm around me. Like the Cubs and Padres in '84, rushing home after school to try and watch that game. Leon Durham making a huge error in that series to lose. The shot on Elo. As a kid that grew up in Chicago, idolizing Michael Jordan, the shot on Elo absolutely was a moment.
See, the thing that I always regret about not being alive during that time is the cultural phenomenon that Jordan was. Like, yes, he was Jordan, and yes, he was the best player in the league, but also the shoe culture, you always talk about starter jackets and stuff, like
Gatorade,
all that Gatorade, like all that stuff,
like Mike,
like I don't feel like we get much of that anymore. There's not really, there's just not much of that real urban, deep like culture that you can enjoy, and that's the hard part is. And I don't know. I don't know if I don't know why or how. I don't know if it's the cell phone or what, but like we just don't connect like that anymore as people. And that's the really hard part is I feel like while yes, times were different and there were certainly concerns and things that people went through, I feel like, it just was such a different world at that point than it is now.
Even like the OJ trial.
Yeah.
Like you don't remember watching the OJ trial.
I didn't watch the OJ Bronco chase.
But what were you? You were a toddler.
Yeah.
You were born in what, 93? You got, what was that, 90, 97, 98? The OJ Bronco chase trial thing every day on every channel, right? Like that's kind of the crazy part for me. Lopes fan Gabe says, "What you gonna do, brother?" No brother drops?
Sorry.
Come on.
Brother.
What about the single one?
Brother.
Eric Wasikowski grew up watching the Attitude Ruthless Aggression era. Okay. Hero 75. My earliest sports memory is going to Ohio State. In Columbus back when they had a track around the field. Wow. How about that? Rob Whitworth. Hello, Rob. 1991, seeing Michael Jordan take a championship away from the Jazz all by myself. I'm so upset that I lost the flu game license plate here in Utah.
Bro, it is a tragedy.
I am so upset.
Are you going to try to get it back?
No, you can't. It's once they transfer it off the vehicle, it's dead for 7 years.
Is it really?
Yes. So I'm going to have to come up with a new plate. But my license plate, I'm such a Bulls fan and a Jordan guy. My Utah license plate is Flu Game, Flugame. Well, was Flu Game. Now I obviously, I bought the Beamer over the weekend and I lost the plate.
Damn.
Unfortunately. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Timothy.
Huge mistake. Toot pants. It seems to me that boomers and Gen X made themselves aware of things that happened before they were born. Millennials and Gen Z seem to focus on things that happened during their lives. I would agree with that. I am a huge fan of history. I am a huge fan of World War II. I am a huge fan of politics. I'm a huge fan of.
I think, though, that part of that is we're farther away from it now than we've ever been, right? I mean, every day that goes by.
Sure. But you could educate yourself as a generation on what happened in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You could it's a different way. I loved history class. I loved civics class. I loved learning about one of my favorite movies is still to this day Gone with the Wind. Like, I think classic films are huge. Like, one of the things I'm curious about what you guys think. Where do you guys come down on who is the next celebrity to die? Because we lost Theo Huxtable. We lost Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne are the three who just passed. And obviously, when you lose a bunch of celebrities in a row, everybody goes to the Deadpool. Like, who are those people that you're like, oh, they're dying soon? Don't you put Ghislaine Maxwell at the top of the list now? Because if she gets out, she ain't walking a block without somebody taking.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Doing their best.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you would have to think. So I'm curious who you guys think, like, who's at the top of that list? Awkward guy, Chuck Mangione. Oh, man, Chuck Mangione was a stud. Absolute stud. Unbelievable. Phenomenal Hebrew says 85 Bears was like a phenomenal phenomenon. Yeah, and that was my childhood. Wasn't that right around the same time as WrestleMania? I want to, and I have this little thing over here. It's called Google. Wrestle, and there it pops right up, so it's probably trending. WrestleMania 3 was March 29th, 1987. So right in that same zone. And I know it was in the Pontiac Silverdome, and like, it was a big deal, dude. That was amazing. And the wrestling boom of the 80s, crazy, dude. Crazy. But do you guys have somebody else in the Deadpool? No, not Clint Eastwood. Do you guys understand, like, Magnum Force in the Dirty Harry movies? That was huge in my childhood. I loved Dirty Harry. He's got to live forever.
Seriously.
Damn. Brandon Butler, Chuck Mangione passed same day as Ozzy. Yes, he did. Unfortunately. William Shatner. Oh, James T. Kirk. Oh, yeah. Toot pants. That's what I thought earlier today. Joe Biden's got to be on. Donald Trump's got to be on that list. Now we know he has congestive heart failure, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
You're the president. You have huge stress with this Epstein stuff. He's got to be on the list. Harvey Weinstein's got to be on the list. I don't know. Is Harvey a celebrity? I would think he is.
Celebrity's probably not the right label, but yes, he's got popularity.
Right? He's well known.
Yeah.
Notoriety. He's notable.
Infamous.
Right? Yeah, he has notoriety. So I wonder who's the next one to go. TJ Beck, Burden Magic, my earliest memories of athletics. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. I think so. Josie Wales. What am I missing with Josie Wales? Let me Google search that. Are you saying the outlaw Josie Wales? Do you mean, you mean Clint Eastwood? Yeah. No, I know him he's Dirty Harry to me. He is Willie Nelson, dead or alive.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Nelson's a good one. Cougs Johnson. What's up, Johnson? Good to see you. Dirty Harry is almost as important as the Pac-12. No, I don't think so. Nothing's more important than the Pac-12. I'm surprised Ric Flair outlived the Hulkster, brother. Also, dude.
Brother.
Ric Flair almost multiple times didn't outlive the Hulkster. Do you understand how many of those NWO guys are gone? Like Eddie Guerrero's gone. Is X-Pac still alive? Scott Hall's dead. Like, just so many of the wrestlers from that era are gone. Like, it just beats the hell out of you. It is not, you are not here for a long time. You're here for a good time if you're a professional wrestler.
Seriously.
Lamont Tucker says Bill Cosby. Well, Mr. Pudding Pop himself. Probably true. King of Thailand says Carol Burnett. Yeah, they're old. They are old. What about, who's the other guy? Not Carol Burnett. I can't think of the other guy's name. But Keith Richards is still going. This is true. He will never die. He will never die. Next to die, the raccoon from the dumpster if Jerry Jones is around.
Well, you know.
There's a lot of names on that list. I think Joe Biden's a really good one.
It is.
Well, because doesn't he has like horrible cancer or something now?
Yeah, he's
right?
dealing with some form of cancer, yeah.
You know, I mean, is Michael J. Fox close to death, though? I don't think so. And if you just search, like famous, let's go famous people, if I could type one-handed, people, Deadpool. What comes up? I know there used to be one. Oh my, it just comes right up. Celebrity death pool. Clint Eastwood, Dick Van Dyke. Has to be on there. I mean, there's just Rupert Murdoch's a good one. He's old as F. That dude, Vladimir Putin. He's
never gonna die. He's only like 10 years old, you know.
Right, but he's got terrible health issues.
Yeah.
Like, do you see all these guys? They live these high stress lives.
Yep.
George Soros. Yes, George Soros is a good one. He is old, George Soros. I want to say he's like 94, George Soros. Alan Greenspan is still alive at 100. Will he outlive Jerome Powell? I think so. Bill Cosby's only 88. Harvey Weinstein, certainly. Marv Levy is still alive at 99. Okay. Imelda Marcos. You don't even know who that is.
No idea who that is.
Yeah, Imelda Marcos. Remember those shoes? Yoko Ono, 92 years old. I mean, Don King at 93. God damn. Don King was born in 1931, you guys. That's crazy. That's crazy. Clint Eastwood is a good one, unfortunately. Big Blue Horses. Whoa. Comment dump. My first sports memory, 77 Salt Lake Golden Eagles hockey game at the Salt Palace. There you go. Did you see that the Utah Grizzlies are officially leaving Utah?
Oh, they are.
They are likely going to Trenton, New Jersey. They were the West Valley City approved their sale because West Valley City owns a significant part of 40% on a debt swap. So, but Monty, first sports memory, back to Harleen. Oh my God. And the best part was way back in the day at Man Camp, in 2014.
My God.
Oh my God. Back in 2014, Man Camp. We had back throw the ball to Harleen, and it's actually in our studio sitting right up there, an autographed Beck Harleen ball. It was one of the greatest things I've done forever. Mitch McConnell. I mean, that dude's already, I think he's dead. I'm not sure, though. 95 Mariners refused to lose until they did. Midweek Cougar member for 17 months. God, the 95 Mariners. Nobody appreciates Edgar Martinez.
Such a stud, dude.
Nobody appreciates him. Nobody at all. Maury Alvarez. I am a real American. Fighting for the... You don't even know what that is. Never mind. It's still one of my favorite songs. That's one of the Hulkster songs.
Brother.
Yeah, brother. So good. So good. That awkward guy. Putin has too many body doubles to ever die. That's
Seriously.
probably true.
Truth.
But Monty, Mel Brooks is Mel Brooks alive? You're saying Mel Brooks is alive? Are you serious? Yes, he's still alive. He was born in 1926. He's 99 years old. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I think you got to have somebody in a high stress position who's old. George Soros, yes. Joe Biden, yes. Donald Trump, yes. And what do all three of them have in common? High stress, rich dudes who are in failing health.
Somebody's always hunting them.
Yeah. And always. They're always fighting something, right? Like, that's why I've always joked I would never want to be president.
No.
You look at what happened to Barack and how much how much he aged. Good God. He went in a teenager and came out like an old man. And now that he's not president anymore, what do you know? He's getting younger. Like, it's crazy how stressful being president of the United States is.
Yes.
I want nothing to do with that job, dude. It's wild. Big Pun, if my biggest fear right now is to make the list is Rhino.
Sandberg.
Oh, you mean Ryan Sandberg. That's tough. He apparently is not doing well. Good old number 23. I spell that RYNO. That's what caught me off guard. I had a dog named Rhino, dead. Oh, bro. I have a bunch of fish. I have a fish tank at my house. And two of my fish, one is red and one is yellow. Their names are Crockett and Tubbs. Tubbs jumped out of the fucking fish tank overnight.
Bro, what?
He jumped out of the fish tank.
So is he unalive?
Yeah, he's dead.
Damn.
Crockett out here protecting the streets of Miami on his own. I mean, yeah, Brandon, I agree. Ryan Sandberg's probably got to be on that list.
How does a fish jump out of the tank? Like, what? Like, what do you mean?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's not uncommon. It's not. I had a fish disappear. And now I'm wondering, well, hey, I wonder if, because I don't have a cap on my fish tank. So I'm wondering if that's what happened. You know, like it is what it is. But Giggity says rip to Hulk Hogan. K Sumbry, dude, bro, sup, bros?
Brother.
Good to see you. Rip Tubbs. Yeah, exactly. It's rough. I don't know. I think to finish up the Deadpool thing, I think Joe Biden has to be close because he's just ill. I mean, he's got this terrible cancer sucks.
Yeah.
So I think he's got to be there, or George Soros is another one. That's going to be a tough one. Midweek Coog, what did you do? What did you say for the funeral? Nothing. I threw him down the garbage disposal.
Damn, bro.
No, I didn't.
God.
I actually put him in the garden outside. Did you guys? I have one single snail. That snail gave birth to well over 100 little snails about 3 weeks ago. and look, maybe I'm not about this life of nobody loves themselves the way I love myself. But I'm not putting out 100 little babies. Like, how does one snail in a fish tank have and it's terrible because they're so gosh darn invasive. Ryan asked that if he passes, they just not sell seat 23 at Wrigley Field for a game to honor him. He's such a class dude. Yeah. Ryan Sandberg's got cancer as well. So brutal. Delaric, I have Jerry Jones on the Deadpool. Now he's too rich not to. He's got to be.
He's living a plush life. Come on.
Yeah. Jerry ain't got no stress. It's not like they're trying to win. How old is Jerry Jones? Because he does look like a bag of bones. 80. Oh, he's only 82. He's only 82. We're shackled with him for a long time.
Yeah, still got plenty of life in that hand as salt as McMuffin.
I think. I do think. If you're in your 90s, and I shouldn't say I'm halfway home, dude. Like, I'm 52. I hope I live to be 200. Like, as long as I have some quality of life, I really hope that I live to be 1 million. Like, I love life, right? But if I look at the celebrity dead pools, it seems like a lot of politicians are on them. Trump, Putin, McConnell. Oh, Bruce Willis.
That's such a
Bruce
sad
Willis.
downfall, dude.
Bruce Willis,
so
yes.
sad.
Yes. Bruce Willis has to be on there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He has to be on there. But it just seems like there's a lot. King Charles, another guy fighting cancer. No doubt about that. But
why is
Elon Musk?
Why is
Elon
on
Musk
that
is on this version of because he knows. I think part of it is if you know too much, you're on the clock. Like Ghislaine Maxwell, if she gets out of prison.
Yeah, well.
Did you see that her attorneys met with the Department of Justice today? Did you guys see that? Are you telling me she's going to get immunity? She's going to walk away?
I think she's going to get a severely reduced sentence.
Like they'll commute it.
Yeah.
But doesn't that, I guess different day.
Well, because different day. But again, it's a classic case. It's not unique to the Epstein situation.
Yeah.
But it's a classic case of, hey, we need someone who's in the know to help us. And she's clearly in the know.
Oh, Dick Cheney. Yes.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney's an old dude with heart. But again, these guys with a history, if you have heart trouble, Hulk Hogan, dead at 71, cardiac arrest. Now, who knows what things he put in the body to make him, but I'll be interested to see. Yes, Dick Cheney, again, major heart problems, right? That's why I say about like Donald Trump. You have congestive heart failure, you're not long for the planet. Like, I mean, you don't outrun that. You don't know. Morgan Freeman ain't that old. Is Morgan Freeman that old?
In his 80s, I think.
Is he really? How old is Morgan Freeman?
Could be wrong. He's old now. Yeah. I think he's in his mid to upper 80s right now.
Morgan Freeman is 88 years old.
Yeah.
Well, goddamn.
Although I would not be surprised if Morgan pushed upper 90s at least, because he's had a, from what I know, he's had a pretty solid existence.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong about all of them. I hope I'm wrong about all of them. Like I just, yeah. Brandon Butler, Hogan had neck surgery recently and did not do well post surgery. Oh, is that right? That sucks. That's just rough.
It's the old saying, man. Once they open you up, you're never the same.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. Yeah. TJ Beck, Clint Eastwood's 95. 95 and old AF. I think, real quick, my best Hulk Hogan story, I've met him twice. The Super Bowl in Tampa, he was going around Radio Row. And the coolest thing about Hulk Hogan was he's just a different dude when he's not in the wrestling world.
Right.
And the thing it actually was, we all joked about it when he left the set. Because you're literally sitting at tables like right next to it, and they're all different radio stations, radio networks, all kinds of stuff. So I was here with Sporting News Radio, and we were Afternoon Drive. My show, I was on Afternoon Drive East Coast. So we had huge listenership. So we got all the best guests, and Hulk Hogan walked up, and I will never forget. He sat down, and we're just sitting there talking during a break, and he's asking me like where I'm from, and we're talking about Chicago, and he's telling me about, the Chicago Stadium, and they've done great shows there, and he loves Chicago. And we come back, he puts on the headphone, and he goes right into brother mode.
Yeah.
The Hulkster, like just.
Well, because it's a character for him,
It was the craziest thing that I've ever seen. Like he just whoop,
brother,
whoop,
brother,
like turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah.
And he, when the interview was over, we went to break. He stood up. He gave me like the bro hug. And he did the whole thing. He said, "God bless you, brother." And he walked away. And it was like crazy. But when he walked up, and the thing I'll never forget, when he walked up to the table, I was doing the show. I don't remember who the guest was, but I had a guest. The guest walked away. He walked up and shook my hand, and he's like, oh, hey, I'm Terry. I will never forget that moment when Hulk Hogan introduced himself to me as Terry.
Brother.
It's like, what? And you're like, oh, hey, how are you? I'm Monty. Nice to meet you. And then you get on the air and you're like, here we are with Hulk Hogan. He's like, brother. It was the craziest thing. And the guy is such a good performer. He was so entertaining. It was amazing. It was one of the things that I will never forget about Hulk Hogan. I think the guy was such an icon of wrestling. He just was super cool, and that was fun. That admittedly,
I can't even think of a thing like that that's similar in today's world. Like, there's not, like, I'm honestly trying to think as we're talking, I'm sitting here like, yeah, like what now is similar to then with wrestling? Like
nothing, because wrestling kind of sucks now. Like, it's not the same thing, and
it's garbage now, dude.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It's not the same thing. It just isn't. Like, there is nothing that is a cultural phenomenon the way that wrestling was. And when Hulk Hogan turned heel for NWO, that was one of the craziest things.
The only thing that I've ever experienced that I think is even remotely similar is when Conor went all double belt on the UFC and was a phenomenon.
Yeah,
for like
Conor
a cup of
McGregor UFC is
Yeah.
a really good one.
Yeah.
Because I think Conor McGregor absolutely had the Hulk Hogan thing happening.
Yeah.
But
But then he just disappeared. He fell off the face of the earth after the injury in the Poirier fight, and there was a bunch of drug use that.
He fell off the face of the earth when he threw that guardrail through the bus window.
And there was that, and, So I don't know, dude. I just think that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like your generation was very fortunate to go through this time where there was all this stuff happening.
We had heroes and villains.
I don't know. If you said to me, hey, well, what if your generation had heroes and villains, what do millennials have?
Not heroes, all villains. Everybody hates everybody now. Like, it is the keyboard warrior persona that we have on social media. That whole thing, to me, all that's done is make our young people super aggressive and super hateful. We tell this story all the time. Like, when we were doing the show at the Maverick Center, we had a studio on the main concourse. The Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City is a big hockey arena, essentially. It's an entertainment venue. And we built a custom studio on the concourse at the Maverick Center. And so people would always come by the studio and say hello to us on game nights. Like, all our listeners would come in, and you would meet probably once a homestand. One of the haters would get the courage to be like, oh, hey, Monty, I love your show, and brother. And they would just come in and laud praise on you. And you almost always know exactly who they are, right? Like, there's this one particular one that stands out to me when the Pac-12 thing was happening and the Pac-12 was melting down, and everybody was like, where's Utah going? Where's Utah going? This one guy that is a ardent keyboard warrior, like, it's his job to just say heinous, terrible things to people.
Yeah.
Came up to us. We were sitting rinkside. We had season tickets on the glass for every game at Maverick Center. And we were sitting ringside, and he came up to us. And he's like, oh man, I love your show. Where's Utah going? Like, trying to be buddy. And I straight up said to the guy, hey dude, you're one of the biggest dicks on Twitter. And I said to him, you say terrible things to us and about us on Twitter. Why are we having this conversation? Like, that's why we don't have heroes and villains. Everybody's a villain. Nobody's good enough. Like, we just have turned into that. When I was growing up, I hated the Iron Sheik. I loved Kerry Von Erich and, again, Tito Santana, Hulk Hogan, body slamming Andre the Giant. I hated Nikita Koloff, and they did a great job in the WWF back in the day. It was called the World Wrestling Federation. They did a great job of doing USA versus Russia. You guys will never know what the Cold War was and Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Like, you guys have no idea what that means.
No, we know what Afghanistan is. That's what we know.
You know one Germany.
That's it.
right.
We know what
That's right.
Afghanistan is.
We
don't know what any of that is.
You know roadside bombs in the Middle East.
That's what we know.
We knew nukes in Cuba and in Russia. And I mean, it's just a different way of doing business.
I would say that our major world happenings are, mostly domestic, honestly, like 9/11, the housing market in 2008. Roadside bombs on the news constantly from Afghanistan. I would even go as far as to say for the early millennial, because I think millennials start in 87, 88, I believe is when our generation starts.
Late 80s.
They were old enough to appreciate Desert Storm, even, I would say. So like our generation is defined by Middle East conflict, I would say. And
I would agree.
And awful financial situations, generally speaking.
Isn't your generation what is if you're a Gen Xer?
Yeah.
What is our generation defined by? Well, if you're a millennial, I know one singular day and time and date. Y'all know what I'm talking about. 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
That's what defined the next 10 years of a millennial's life.
Yep.
Right?
That's the day and time I can tell you where I was, when it happened, like all that.
Yeah. For me, I guess an incident like that would be the Challenger space shuttle explosion, science class, like 1980. 87 was that, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Ronald Reagan's assassination, John Lennon. Like, we didn't really have, I mean, we had, the first President Bush going into the Middle East, but yeah, I think it's a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Brandon Butler for $5. Part of the problem is we have gone from black and white and good and evil to one giant shade of gray. Good Lord. The internet only muddles the water. That is the truth right there. That is the truth. Like, it is. Toot pants. Hero, the ref at the Chiefs game. Exactly. Lamont Tucker, Vince McMahon is on the clock. Oh, my God.
Certainly.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yes. Wasikowski loved the bad guys growing up. Had no idea. So you're a huge Wayne Fonts fan. Bad guy. Michael Caine. Is Michael Caine dead or alive?
Search it. Need to know.
I thought Michael Caine recently died, didn't he? I thought. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everybody lives as long as they can. Michael Caine, let's see. Age. Michael Caine is 92 years old. He's still alive. He's on the clock.
Yeah, he is.
He looks like a skin suit. He is on the clock.
Skin suit.
He's on the clock. Shouty. Midweek Coog. The only WWF I know is the World Wildlife Fund. Exactly.
Right.
Remember that when that whole thing went down? The reason there's no heroes or villains, since no one is perfect, critics can always find what they're looking for. But
I think the heroes villains thing is there's no unity anymore, really. I don't think that there's any like you can't. I feel like it's difficult for even if we're just talking about sports, even to disagree about something overall. Like I think that the only time we really see people disagreeing is just for the sake of the conversation on like a podcast or like. But like those genuine disagreements you would have can't happen anymore because it's just so like the fuse is just so short now. So I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't like. Obviously, we plan to talk about this today, but like we didn't plan to go. It hadn't crossed my mind that like millennials, my generation doesn't really have those iconic, because really it's just. Honestly, for me, it's obviously Kobe. Of course, that was my guy growing up.
Well, and that was a huge scandal.
That was a big scandal, of course. But I didn't. I guess it's just different. I can't quite say why it's different, other than to say like your generation had that blessing, if you will. You had that opportunity, which is awesome. but I don't know if that ever returns. Like now I feel like it's almost like, and I bring this up on the show from time to time and we have these life discussions, but like, doing a show, like you're so plugged into sports that maybe like that's part of the issue is
you're
that
desensitized. There's no doubt.
I don't have the ability, like I really loved watching Connor McDavid in the NHL playoffs, like I loved, like there's you could throw a name out there and I'd be like, yeah, dude, that for me, that's like a must-watch game here or there. But like unfortunately, I don't have that, which sucks. That's unfortunate.
I agree. John Blackwelder, as a late boomer, I can truly say things changed in our society on 9/11. I agree with that. Cougar tracks. Most young people don't even know what Vietnam is. Seriously. And what that did to a generation. 1981 for millennials, by the way.
Millennials know what Vietnam is. Millennials don't understand the impact it had, or just they don't understand the impact it had. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. They don't understand all the issues within it, but obviously we know what it is.
Oh, Shane, that's not a bad point. O.J. Simpson certainly played a role in Gen X. Internet boom. Yeah, absolutely. 9/11 is such a weird date for me because it's my dad's birthday. Really awkward to celebrate that day. I don't think that if you were alive on 9/11, it impacted you. I mean, it terrified us, right?
Yeah.
Like it was.
Well, it was really the first time that since Pearl Harbor that we've had an attack like that was that big picture. Like obviously there's the one-off guy or like,
Richard, whatever is the shoe bomber guy.
Yeah, like one-off things like that. But that was really the reason I felt like 9/11 was such an impactful thing for me was I was like, wow, dude, like, yeah, like we just got attacked by a country overseas. Like that's the first time that's really happened since how long?
But look at Fat Jesus. See, I'm with you on this. I think that as Gen Xers, the Russian Cold War. Yeah, I totally agree. Red Dawn could happen. We all thought that
what were the dates of the Cold War? When was that? That was
60s through late 80s.
So long.
I mean, if you look at it, probably starts with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I mean,
Google has it 47 to 91 as the general like timeline. But,
sure,
like,
I mean, you could go back to for my generation. I think it was a Cuban Missile Crisis, and I don't remember the year of the Cuban Missile Crisis, but I don't think there's any doubt that Cuban Missile Crisis to late 80s, when the wall came down, is when the Cold War ended. I mean, like, again, not through any fault of your own, but millennials don't even know
62
that. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So 62.
Yeah.
So you don't even know that there used to be an East and a West in Germany.
Yeah.
You don't understand what that wall represented and the people hitting it with sledgehammers. And I would agree with you. I think the Russian conflict and you called an American a communist, and those were fighting words. Somebody was getting punched in the face, right? Like it was certainly, I think that was a thing. Welcome to the nightmare. As a millennial, some of the key events that I remember, Columbine.
Columbine, certainly.
Absolutely. OJ trial, 9/11, the Boston Marathon bombing, yes.
But what, and I'm just curious, you don't have to give us your like exact age, but like how old are you? Because millennials right now go till like mid to late 30s.
I think it's 85 forward. I'm pretty certain that 1985, I think, is where millennials started.
81.
You think 81? Okay.
Well, that's what Google has it as. I mean, that's
so
it's kind of a.
I think it's interesting then. If you're an older millennial, if you are,
so
if
the
you're
oldest millennial right now would be 38 by those years. 81 to 96 is millennials.
So if you figure, 81, 91, 2001, 2011, 2021, you're 40, middle 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in your 40s, you're well aware of what.
Yeah. I mean, if you were born, like 81, let's say, then you were old enough to at least absorb some of it.
Yeah,
for sure. But like, that's my point. So this is the difference is that I wasn't born until the early 90s. So I just didn't experience it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with Midweek Coog, 81, 85, a mix of Gen X and millennials. Like, I just think the Cold War, the Russian threat, I think Fat Jesus is exactly right. Like Mikhail Gorbachev seems tame compared to Vladimir Putin, right? Like when Vladimir Putin is no longer amongst us, where does Russia go, right? Like what happened? Like I think it's one of those events that, could change the world. I think it is really interesting to see when things like Hulk Hogan dying from what essentially amounts to a heart attack, it sounds like, cardiac arrest at 71 years old today in Florida. That's why these conversations happen, right? We've spent an hour now, talking through this and, thinking about the way that it impacts people. And I think it is really interesting to see your thoughts and feelings on it. Wait a minute. We're talking about Hulk Hogan dying and multiple people got filtered?
Oh, well, look at the names.
The eye patch, Randy Round guy. I've never even heard of Randy Round guy.
Yeah.
Eye patch, what did you do to get filtered? Like, we're talking about a guy dying in the Cold War and you're getting filtered. I don't even want to know. Monty, technically at this point in time, it was the Soviet threat, not the Russian. Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
this is true.
Hey,
that's very true, though.
You put respect on, JSC's name.
What was wasn't it CCCP or I can't remember what the letters were, but yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Pre-1995, we used to have heroes because the news was on for an hour a day. Post that, it's a 24-hour news cycle. Lots of time for outrage machine.
See, I didn't even know that.
Right.
That's a great point.
I think that's probably right.
That's a great point.
Yeah. When Vlad is gone, I think that country calms the heck down. I hope so. He's old school KGB who thinks that Drago beat Rocky. Well, Eye Patch was showing bot behavior, kept posting the same thing. Okay.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go.
That is how you get banned on YouTube.
Oh my God, man. Manuel Noriega and Muammar Gaddafi. Oh, do you guys remember Libya and you guys, Iran Contra? What's his name? Oh my God, he was on Miami Vice's Gordon Liddy. You guys remember Oliver North and Gordon Liddy? Oh my God. You guys remember that whole thing? Oh my goodness. Those were the days, right? Those were the days. Big Daddy Magic says, I love Hulk Hogan. That's cool. That's cool. USSR, yes, United Social Soviet Republic. But wasn't there like CCCP or something like that? There was, I think. All right. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. Okay, come on. Prize Picks.
What? I'm looking up CCCP.
Tell them what your boy did for you last night. Go ahead and tell them.
Let me pull.
Oh wait, you ignored me, so it didn't happen. See, I won 3 for 3 on Prize Picks last night. I am on a heater. I've never won 10 straight. Today could be 10 straight. 10 straight Prize Picks plays without a loss.
I got 3 in a row as well.
But how many did you get last night?
2 of 3.
Which one didn't win?
Patrick Corbin.
What did I tell you about Patrick Corbin?
That he wouldn't last.
He's going to throw 150 pitches, Bonnie.
Even though he's thrown more than 90 pitches his last 5 starts.
Yeah, but look at who he was facing.
Doesn't matter.
Last night, my goddamn left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, yard, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He put up 6. Chris Bassett. You don't want Chris Bassett. It turns out I did. 5.5 strikeouts. I took Maury. He had 8. And then Max Fried, less than 4.5 strikeouts. He had 3. Cash me outside, baby. This is a heater of heaters. Like, I'm pushing $500 again in the Prize Picks account. Like, we were on, we boys, let's just keep it real. We were on life support in the Prize Picks account. We were getting down to
We were on life support.
We were getting down there, brother. We were getting down there, and it was one of those things where you were like, I might have to go all in on Katie Clark, who's not playing again tonight. She's hurt.
Katie Clark.
But Sophie Cunningham, who's amazing. Her number, they make it so hard right now to pick WNBA games. You either go 7.5 or 11.5. And I think for good old the Sofanator, if I go 3-pointers made, I don't know that I can do that. 3.5 3-pointers made. How about points and rebounds? I'm going to say points and rebounds 13.5 more out of the phenomenally beautiful Sophie Cunningham. And then I think we're going to go Major League Baseball. You got any baseball predictions for me
I'm
tonight,
looking
Jake?
at right now.
I think obviously the beloved, Mayar and we, are the Cubs playing today? The Cubs are off today? Oh, the Cubs are off. You assholes. Okay. Now, then we're going to have to go Yankees and Phillies because some ball's going to leave the yard tonight.
Mhm.
Where do you go hits, runs, and RBIs in this game? Aaron Judge, 2.5.
Who's pitching for the Yankees? Can you?
Your mom?
Who we got for the Yankees?
Your mom. Aaron Judge is 2.5. This is the one I was chewing on this morning when I looked at this. I am very interested to see. Do you take Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, or do you take Aaron Judge tonight? The pitching matchup, pretty pedestrian. Taijuan Walker for the Phillies, Will Warren for the Yankees. Both of them are Will Warren's a 4.91. Taijuan Walker's a 3.75.
I would definitely be taking Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper.
I think so because I think
at Yankee Stadium.
I think Will Warren is going to get lit them up. He's a righty. I don't know how you stay away from the Phillies tonight. Bryce Harper is, you want to talk about a heater. Bryce Harper is on a heater. The problem is they won't let you go Bryce Harper hits, runs, or RBIs. It's only half a hit, run, and RBI, and it's a goblin, so it doesn't pay. So I kind of feel like
Schwarbs to go deep.
We're getting hosed here. Yeah, Kyle Schwarber isn't even available on hits, runs, and RBIs.
And it does not appear he's available on home runs.
Is he not playing tonight?
Oh, yes, he is available on home runs. Yes, he is.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, there's Schwarbs. His home run is 1.
He is available on total bases as well at 3.5.
He is not available on hits, runs, and RBIs. What a scam. Will he have 2 hits tonight? Will he have 2 hits? He's had 2 hits 3 of his last 5. Boy, they are not playing around with this pitching matchup.
No, they are not.
They're making it very difficult. And I'm going to go Demon. He'll have 2 RBIs tonight. And then I think you got to look at Aaron Judge. And I think you have to hope for the best. His hit, run, and RBI number is 2.5. We're going to go more. So I've got the phenomenally talented and beautiful Sophie Cunningham, 13.5 points more. Kyle Schwarber more than 1.5 RBIs, and Aaron Judge more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Okay. That's a flex play. So we take 3 and we play a flex play.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. 20 to win 180 because I've got 2 demons in there. I don't say I didn't help you, you guys. I've got the single greatest daily fantasy promo ever invented. Use the promo code Monty to open up a new Prize Picks account. You deposit $5, Prize Picks will give you $50 more in plays instantly. You can play the entire football season on $55.
Mm-hmm.
So easy. What do you got on Prize Picks tonight?
I have an unconventional Prize Picks tonight.
Oh boy.
So, for whatever reason, and I don't really know why, Wimbledon got my attention this year. And I've got Taylor Fritz, number 10 player in the world right now.
Let's just go ahead and turn his mic off. You're doing tennis on Prize Picks.
Hear me out.
God damn it.
Hear me out. Number 10 player in the world.
How do you get this far away from rationality?
Nobody.
How do you get this far away from rationality?
Playing Matteo Arnaldi for 9.5 aces, which is a goblin for him. Love Taylor Fritz. And then I've got Aaron Judge, more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Kyle Schwarber to hit home run.
I just can't. I can't.
20 to win 100.
I can't.
On a flex.
I can't.
I know.
I just cannot. You cannot do tennis.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. You know, I am just that is so over the top ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That is, Prize Picks. Download the app, open a new Prize Picks account using the promo code Monty. Do not take Jake's advice. Take mine. I'm going for 10 straight wins tonight. So
what did you say to me before the show about the Savannah Bananas?
I don't get it.
So my guy over here says I don't get it.
I don't get it.
One of their players goes on CNN to promote the league.
I saw this.
Does a backflip and face plants live on national TV. Nice, dude.
Okay, what are there? 7,000 people watching the show right now. Is there anybody here who's like, oh man, the Savannah Bananas are unbelievable. Gotta do it. Well, as soon as he gets his teeth reapplied to his face, I'll do it. Like, and listen, I want to get to Donald Trump saving college football in North Carolina, bailing on the ACC. Somebody help me understand about the Savannah Bananas. I don't understand. It's baseball. It's fun. It's different. They're wearing shorts and their nipples are hard. Like, I get it. Right?
Their nipples are hard.
I totally get it.
Bro.
I just don't understand. If you're a baseball fan, maybe if you're a kid and you want Bill Belichick in your life, go to a Savannah Bananas game. Right? I don't understand it. It's not. It's not for me.
Bill Belichick find a way every day to get his nipples on the screen on this show?
Because it is what it is, bro. The Savannah Bananas are amazing, very entertaining. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
What's
it just
the
doesn't
draw?
resonate.
What's the draw? Why do you like it?
It does not resonate for me.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't get it
because
either.
clearly we're missing something because they're selling out big league ballparks and like the wait for tickets is like years long.
I agree. All right, let's get into it. Donald J. Trump. He wants to save college football. Jake, is what Donald Trump did today saving college football?
I mean, it's exactly what we said last week, right? We talked about this last week, and so you send this executive order, basically asking to define what a college football player is or what a college athlete is. And I think it doesn't really change anything for the conversation, in my opinion, because we're already doing that. We're already working. And when I say we, like the collective group of people working on this problem are already trying to figure out what the best way forward is in terms of labeling college athletes, right? Are they employees? Are they 1099s? Like, what is the best way to do this? And I think that the issue is that, in my opinion, Donald Trump would like to make it more difficult for these players to make the money that they deserve to make, in my opinion, which is why you're starting to see this system go in through these executive orders to where it's harder to get these kids paid. And I just think that you shouldn't be messing with kids' pay. Also, generally speaking, we don't need the government in college athletics, in my opinion. Yes, would it be helpful for some congressional structure to come in a little bit and define some things? Sure, but overall, like, our president and the government has better things to do than to be tweaking college football specifically. And I don't really feel like this executive order does anything other than help Donald Trump distract from what he doesn't want to talk about. Because that's what I feel like it is. You could have easily signed this last week when you put out your vaunted draft of this executive order.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think it does a lot.
Well, here's the text that you care about. He's talking about entering 2024, $20 million annually. This reduces competition and parity by creating an oligarchy of teams that can simply buy the best players. All of the things that the people who run college football say that they wanted, the system that they say they wanted, and that's what you got, right? And now, all of a sudden, Donald Trump shows up and he's like, hey, if your school has a budget of $125 million or more, you're required to provide more non-revenue scholarships this coming year than you did last year. Like, why would you do that? Why are you discouraging business growth and revenue generation in the college football world? Because that's what this does. And I continue to say this, and I know that it probably frustrates people. This is just an opportunity to distract from the real headlines. And this, I am telling you, having talked to people in college football and having talked to people who this will directly impact, nobody asked for this and nobody wants it. It is, in my opinion, wholly unhealthy. It restricts competition. It restricts revenue. It discourages people from making money. It just is not a system that I think is productive for college athletics. And if you look at the way that administrators want to run college football and basketball right now, they want to make this money to provide reach and greater revenue opportunities for their academic institutions. And plain and simply put, this executive order, while it has no teeth here today, because now it's got to go to committees and departments, and before it can become a bill or a law, it's got to be a bill, and it's got to get, I get it. But what this executive order is telling you is that Donald Trump doesn't want kids to be paid money. He doesn't want them to have the opportunity to generate revenue off their name, image, and likeness. And he wants those kids to be students. And if they happen to be athletes, great. What in that is what anybody wants in college athletics? Because this, again, and I will continue to say this until somebody actually listens, all this kind of nonsense does is hurt the lower level sports. College football and college basketball will largely be unchanged. You are hurting stick and ball sports. You are hurting track and field. You are hurting gymnastics and swimming. It's why you're seeing swimming and diving programs are one of the first things getting cut. You are hurting women's sports. You are hurting club sports. You are hurting academic opportunities, which we have already seen that this administration wants to limit academic opportunities. I mean, that executive order today that we are talking about, and again, I'll put the text up here. All this is doing is restricting opportunities for kids to make money off of their athletic ability. That's what it's doing. And I will never understand why the old rich guys in this country hate the idea that young people can make money because they're good athletically. I'll never understand it. I just don't get it. And now on top of that, what you slid into this executive order is that schools with budgets of $125 million or more are required to provide, quote, more non-revenue scholarships this coming year than you did last year. You are punitively acting. You are punishing schools that invest more money into athletics. You're punishing them. How else can you look at that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's another way to look at it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this narrative or concept that somehow this is saving college football is absolutely ridiculous to me. I mean, I just think that it makes everything more difficult, and it's so unnecessary, and that's why I say, like, it just is this thing where everyone's like, oh, well, the president's getting involved in college football, man, it must really need help, and it's like, yeah, it needs some things straightened out. But I don't think that college football is somehow dying or not going to be around unless, the savior of college football, otherwise known as our president, steps in. And that's what I have trouble with, is just the notion that this somehow saves college football. And I think that it's right up the alley of exaggeration and saying things that aren't true. And what we've seen this administration do, frankly. Like, it's not even, I don't even think it's unique to the president. I think there are a lot of folks in the administration who have gotten themselves in a bit of a pickle by saying things that are untrue, and then they don't pan out. So again, if you're going to say you're saving college football, like, I hope this is like the best executive order that's ever been written, because I don't think it's going to do too much, frankly, right now for the system. So,
I think this executive order is neat and cool, and we all want to talk about it. And, oh my God, Donald Trump saving America. Let this get through committee. Let it get through the houses of Congress. There's a long way to go before this bill is ever signed into a law. There's a long way to go before a committee is even going to improve this, because the thing that I would ask is, how are you, as the president of the United States, trying to get legislation in place that limits the commerce of universities? I still don't understand this assault on the education system in this country, because they don't agree with certain of your philosophies. you're going to punish them financially. I have no idea when we became that.
Yeah.
And that's what this executive order is pointed at. You don't agree with our philosophies, we're going to punish you. We don't want young people, especially young people who are lacking opportunities, to make money off their name, image, and likeness because they happen to be elite athletes.
And you're not.
That's all this says.
Yeah.
And I will never understand it. I will never understand it. It just does not make sense to me. Chewy, why are we talking about Victor Wembanyama? Big day. Sometimes I run out of patience. Like this, yeah. I really don't think it's appropriate to say that your 9/11 was Pearl Harbor. Number one, you were not there. Number two, they are completely different, horrible times in our history. Oh, I disagree with that. I think the impact was very much the same. And I don't know that you could say one was more traumatizing than the other. You know what I mean? Like that's...
Well, my main point is like, that was the next time. The reason I said that is because to me, that's the next time a threat came across the sea and attacked us. Like, obviously it's a different setup. Obviously, it's kind of a different situation, but if you look at it, like, again, it's two, adversaries in both instances surprising us with an attack. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I understand it wasn't necessarily a military based action, but it's still an attack from people based in a foreign country on our country. So that's why I said, like, and there really, if you look at history, there's not really been another attack on that scale since Pearl Harbor. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think there are massive parallels. I think there are massive parallels. All right. In the comment section, do you believe that this executive order from Donald Trump today will help or hurt college football? Do you believe that it helps college football, college basketball? Do you believe it hurts them? I think it does nothing but hurt them, because I look at it very much the way that I look at, making college kids stay in college basketball for 3 years or 2 years, or then they wind up in Lithuania, or I think it's bad for business. I think it is bad for business. Dude, like, I get it. You like Victor. Maybe wait till basketball season. Then you can put Victor into every topic that you want.
Yeah,
it gets tiresome, man. Like, and I'm somebody that's got a lot of patience. Like, at some point, man, at least be on topic. Like, what are you talking about? Pearl, Kennedy, and 9/11 are the where were you when that happened moments. Absolutely.
Agreed.
But Monty, terrible business move by Orange is the new dementia. Well, I don't know if he's got dementia. I think he's trying to deflect that. I honestly think that all of these little things that have no teeth, I think that's what it is. I truly think that's what it is. Don't forget, Monty, DJT also saved the Commanders and the Guardians. There you go.
Right.
I just think that the president, he has so many other things. And I'm not even talking about the Epstein list. Like, go figure out Russia, Ukraine. Go figure out the economy. Go figure out, like these tariffs that are killing people. Like, go figure that stuff out. College football, college basketball is going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. There's really no reason for the president of the United States to be involved in this. Nobody is asking him to get involved. Nobody. He was directly asked to get involved in the Live Golf thing. Did that get fixed? No, it did not. We're further away from a Live Golf PGA settlement than we've ever been. Let him focus on matters of running the country. Stop with this nonsense about the Commanders, the college football, Obama's treason, which is not treason. Like, get the economy in line. Bring down the price of beef and eggs and food. Put in legislation. Give me executive orders that make it more affordable for people to buy houses. Right? Like, trying to run Jerome Powell out of the Fed and then saying you're going to cut the Fed rate by hundreds of basis points. What are you doing? There's no reason. Focus on the stuff that makes Americans' lives better. College football and college sports does not need the president's help. It just
No.
There's a conversation to be had about does Congress need to get involved to protect institutions and entities? Okay, I can have that conversation.
Right.
I don't believe for any second that the president of the United States in our current climate should be worried about NIL and how much money kids are making. He simply has way too many other
bigger
things.
issues.
Like it is amazing to me. But Monty, DJC's actions today are really terrific. See what he did there. See what he did there. C. SCOTUS NCAA versus Austin. Monty deflecting the DNI repo it already. Okay, so Eric will never criticize Donald Trump ever on anything. And what the best part of this is the Tulsi Gabbard thing is accusing Barack Obama of trying. She's essentially saying Barack Obama repeatedly forced people to investigate and find the way that Russia hacked voting machines. That's essentially what she's saying. When Barack Obama has, I think it was 4 press conferences and multiple releases of reports saying that the Russians tried to impact the election, but were unsuccessful in accessing voting machines and successfully influenced the election through social media. He's on the record saying that. Donald Trump's own special counsel validated what Barack Obama's administration found when they investigated. So you can sit here and say that we're trying to deflect. Nobody's deflecting. In fact, I'm the one who tells you, go ahead at Barack Obama, because your own special counsel, Donald Trump's special counsel in his first term, pissed off Donald Trump so mightily because he said, yes, I am in concurrent thought with Barack Obama and his administration's findings on Russian interference in the election, which was they interfered through social media influence, and they were unable to, even though they tried, they were unable to access voting machines, which is why your Mike Pillow hero is bankrupt today. It's why Rudy Giuliani is a laughingstock today. Do you know how many people have been found guilty of those exact things that Barack Obama's administration found that your special counsel validated? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's so funny to me.
You make it so easy.
It's guys like Eric Wasikowski that are the laughingstock of this country. It is so embarrassing that you will not stand up to a child sex predator. You'll support him. It tells me who you are, dude. Tells me who you are. The genie is out of the bottle. NIL will be tied up for years before anything gets done by anyone. POTUS, Congress, NCAA, Oak State, James, doesn't matter.
Oak State, James.
Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Hi, this is
Right?
James. Welcome back.
It just makes no sense to believe that an executive order is going to fix college football and college basketball. That's not how you do this. You can't legislate NIL because you can't put there is nothing in the Constitution that would support any legislation telling a kid he cannot earn money.
Yeah.
Based on his own abilities and his own marketability and his own market value.
That's what the country's built on, dude. Like,
it's the fabric of the Constitution, which is what I think so many people in college have talked about. And I think it's a really good point. I want to say one of the guys on Fox said it yesterday or the day before. We're writing executive orders that fly in the face of the Constitution and doing nothing about it. And that's what this is. When you tell an American citizen you can't make money on your talent, name, image, or likeness, find me in the Constitution where it says that. It doesn't. It's not constitutional to limit somebody's ability to make money. It's called capitalism. Yeah. It's what democracy's built on. But therein lies the problem. And I think that's the discussion that so many people don't want to have. So many people don't want to have the open, honest discussion that legislation that's going to come out of this, because we all know Mike Johnson's going to do exactly what Donald Trump tells him to do. The legislation that will come out of this will be anti-democracy, it will be anti-capitalism, and it will be unconstitutional. And my guess is it will become a thing. I think in a very different form, but it will become a thing. That's my opinion. But Monty, the only thing the government can do is enforce the federal minimum wage for student athlete employees, but that's a minimum, not a maximum. I just don't know how you get that. I don't know how this turns into a conversation. That's what how does this turn into sit in a committee and say, okay, Democrats, Republicans, and independents all agree kids should not be able to make money based on their talent, name, image, and likeness. Do you want to outlaw Jimmy the Booster paying this guy this amount of money to come and play at Texas Tech? Okay, great. That's already against the rules, which is, I think, what a lot of people don't understand, because that's what you're hearing now in defense of these things. Oh, well, the bag man's back. The bag man's not back. It's already against NCAA rules.
Right.
There's already an enforcement body in place to make sure rules are followed. There are guardrails in place already. Donald Trump used the phrase, there are no guardrails. There are guardrails in place. But again, my question is, and nobody's been able to answer this, why does the president of the United States want to limit somebody's ability to make money and profit off their athletic ability, name, image, and likeness? How does that math? How does that reconcile?
Because what they want is they want to pull all the money out of the system for themselves. That's it.
That's all it can be.
That's it.
It's another...
Because we're not complaining about the pro guys making money.
And you guys always get pissed when I say this. It's another old man that's supposedly a billionaire, which he's not, but he's a very rich individual who's trying to keep poor people poor. That's what this has been about in college sports for all of these years.
Decades.
That's what it's been about. It's rich white guys usually oppressing young people who, and I'm not even talking about minorities or, like impoverished. It's young people across the board. We want them to have significant school debt. We don't want them to be able to make money. And we don't want them to be able to profit off of their own name, image, and likeness. Explain that to me. How are we in this place? How did we get here? And I don't think you can explain it to me. I don't think you can explain it, because we don't give a shit if the USC theater student is moonlighting on the side as a PA or something. Like, I cannot tell you how many in Los Angeles, like my experience is at Fox Sports, when I worked at Fox Sports, and after that, remember when 3D exploded and everybody was making 3D movies and TV shows?
Uh-huh.
I cannot tell you how many 3D artists were theater program students at major universities in Southern California. So wait, let me get this right. It's okay that off their abilities, they're able to go make money while they're in school. But because this kid is really good at basketball or football or softball or fencing, they can't go and do a deal with Coca-Cola because that money should be yours. Because that's what this is. That's what this is. Why is it okay for the theater school kid? Why is it okay for the MBA student, the MBA candidate, to go and work at a major accounting firm or work at a major law firm? Like if you're top 10% of your law class, most of the time you have employment opportunities. But if you're top 10% in college athletes, you're not allowed to make the same money. Help me understand it. There is no explanation for it.
There is not.
You are trying to oppress people. That's not what democracy is. You are trying to take people's freedoms and rights away. That's not what the Constitution is. but nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. You want to be divisive and you want to, you know.
Yep.
It just does not make sense to me. I don't understand it. Sad Face says, preach. There are thousands of regulations and laws that stop people from making the money they want to make and how they want to make it. Total oversimplification. No, it's not. No, because there are... I don't know how to make people understand this. There is no other industry in the world where you are telling the app, without question, the asset that makes you money, because there is no money and there is no revenue without the football players, without the basketball players and baseball players and the sprinters. There's no money. What other industry? You go find me somebody that can run a 4.340, catch a football running 4.3 speed, hit a baseball that's being thrown at him at 100 miles an hour. And this is the argument that people like John Hamm make. Well, Monty, there's rules and laws and you can replace these. Okay, find me the replacement for the guy that can throw 100 or hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Then why don't you go do it? If it's just so regulations and laws that stop people from making money, and the one that everybody talks about is, well, you can't sell your own home without a license. Well, why is that? Because fraud is massive in real estate. Mm-hmm. That's the one that everybody throws out there. Everybody always goes and attacks real estate agents for making money. Well, because trust me when I say you, as a normal human being that's not trained, you have no idea the liability that's involved when you are selling your own home. That's why that's in place. What does that have to do with a guy hitting 100-mile-an-hour fastball or a wide receiver running 4.3 being covered by a guy who's running 4.4? And the quarterback who throws that ball in the right time and space to make sure his guy gets it and the other guy doesn't. And if that's so replaceable, and if it's just the normal cost of doing business, why are all the old heads trying to hang on to that talent? What other industry is it where they say, if you don't come and play here and make us money, you can't play anywhere? What industry is that outside of college football? What other industry is it if you go to college, you got to stay there for 3 years because we're not going to pay you a penny? What industry is that? Hey, if you go work at that sewing factory, you can't become a licensed real estate agent for 3 years. What industry is that? What rules and regulations are in place that says that? It's Neanderthal thinking that's what this is, because you don't want to have a conversation about old men stealing from young men. Because without the young guys and without the athletes, there's no $100 million per school in the Big Ten. Better get on board with that, because what's going to happen, in my opinion, I was talking to an agent the other day, college football players are talking about striking if this happens. And then what? Because what people don't understand is they're like, oh, fuck them, then they can't go to college. Okay, cool. Who do you think is going to make more money, the colleges or the players being supported by their NIL deals? Because I have a feeling that there's not many NIL companies that are going to walk away from athletes who are being oppressed by tyranny and tyrants. Because eventually, where are all those college football players going to be? Yeah, they're going to be in the NFL, because it doesn't matter. Once they're old enough to be in the NFL, once they're 3 years out of high school, they can go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Good luck if you're college football and John Hamm is your thought leader. Good luck, because that's what's going to get you. Kay Sumbry says, preach. But Monty says, these people always say you can earn your way in this country, but when someone does it without a handout from daddy, they get pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a free country. Democracy.
When they can't control it, they get upset.
And when they can't put their hands in your pocket, they get upset.
Yep.
Supreme Court antitrust laws should not be a cover for exploitation of student athletes.
Agreed.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. What does exploitation mean in this case? Okay, well, that would mean that you're making billions of dollars and they're not, and they're the reason you're making billions of dollars. You are exploiting the college athlete to make your billions. Well, why don't we just pay them and allow them to make money? Oh, because they're already getting a scholarship, then they should have to pay for school. Why? Why do you care? Oh, because you didn't get it. You didn't get that opportunity. Because if it was your son, or if it was your daughter, or if it was you, John Hamm and every other Neanderthal, my guess is you'd take the free education too, wouldn't you? Oh, you would turn it down and you would reach into your pocket and pay $100,000? Oh, that's so nice. Okay, John, let's see you cut a check then. Oh, now you actually have to do it. You don't want to do it.
Oh.
I see how it is. Eric Wasikowski, look, what did I tell you? They always resort to insults because they can't have the conversation. Monty, the libs still stuck in 2016. Yeah, the registered Republican, then apparently now is a liberal.
I'm still waiting for you to make a fact-based point.
He just doesn't.
That's right.
Can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. That's
you
right.
Can't. You can't. Toot Pants. Eric, instead of name calling, why don't you tell us where Monty is wrong on a topic at hand? Because Eric can't do that.
Yeah, he's incapable.
Because it requires logic. It requires Eric not to defend child sex predators, and he's not willing to do that. That's where the rubber meets the road here. All of this nonsense about Barack Obama and treason, and do you understand that it used to be if you called somebody a traitor that they were coming for you? Now we just get up on TV and we call it one of the most beloved presidents of all time, and I voted for him twice, as most people did, because he won in landslides. One of the most popular presidents of all time. Oh, now he's a traitor, committed treason. He tried to have a coup.
And you're saying that because you don't want your beloved president to be on a list full of child sex predators.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing. I'm pretty sure nobody on here has called Trump a certain name, but sure. A certain name? What are you talking about? And then we go right to what did I say? He always goes right to, oh, it's woke time. You don't even know what that word means. You don't even know what, you can't have a logical, fact-based conversation. Today, you're pissed that Barack Obama didn't do what Tulsi Gabbard's saying he did. And the evidence is all out there. Even your beloved Fox News is saying, hey, I'll remind you, yeah, you had your own special counsel who agreed with Barack Obama's findings. When the President Trump hired a special counsel, named a special counsel to investigate, the special counsel agreed with Barack Obama that the Russians interfered in the 2016 election.
And that's not his opinion. That's what happened.
That's fact.
Your network is saying that.
That's fact.
So
you know how we know it's fact? Because the Trump campaign does not even argue that they used social media and they employed bots that now we know were from Russia to do their job. That's not in dispute. It's called brilliant. But what they're trying to get Barack Obama on is they're saying, oh, he committed treason. He ignored his own intelligence. He told them to go find proof that they broke and got into voting machines. Barack Obama did 4 press conferences where he said they were unable to breach voting systems. But nobody is arguing that Russia interfered in the 2016 election. Nobody except you. Right? Like, this is what happens when you lie down with a dog, you get fleas. You're defending a guy who is, according to his own Justice Department, via the Wall Street Journal, in the Epstein files. So he's bombed Iran over it. He's now going after Barack Obama, college athletes. Like, how many of these things are we? You can just sit here and call people woke and insult people, or you can have an educated conversation. Oh, you don't like the truth. That's what happens. There's no getting away from it. You know, Jeremiah Champion, I'm a registered Republican by Eric's logic. I'm also a liberal. See, the problem is we got to stop labeling people. We're not liberals or conservatives. We're not Democrats or Republicans. Say it with me. We're Americans. Only we're not anymore. Now it's let's go blame everybody else for Donald Trump allegedly being in the Epstein files. Even though we know that him and Jeffrey Epstein were best of friends for a very long time. We've seen the photos of him and Ghislaine Maxwell. We've seen the photos of him and Epstein. It would be shocking if he wasn't in the files. But it's, Joe Biden doctored the files. Well, they were under sealing. He didn't have access to them. Oh, facts. That's right. Like, what are we doing? We're all Americans. And until we stop insulting people and talking about how we're woke and it's being American, you are defending somebody who's an alleged sexual predator. You want to keep information from the American people that you ran on a platform where you promised to expose that information. So now you're deploying your operation against college athletics so that we're not talking about the Epstein files. We're talking about how bad these students are being manipulated. Because that's what we're doing.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. Chewy, we all know the elites are behind our divisions. They manufacture the hatred towards each other. But it's people like Eric Wasikowski who fall into it and keep going, and libtards and woke. Fuck off. Like, just stop. Just stop. You cannot possibly believe at this point that Donald Trump is doing anything to benefit you. I think you're a UPS driver or an Amazon driver. What is he doing to benefit you?
I'm not sure.
Did you guys see the layoffs and the buyout offers from UPS to their drivers? Is Donald Trump supporting union employees? No, he's not. No, he's not. You think he's trying to support America? He's not. But you won't say that. You won't say that. It just...
And that's the part that I guess... for me, I don't understand. I have to be honest, all the effort that is put in to go back to Obama and all this stuff, all these fake narratives that are out there, it's amazing you're willing to accuse people of things, but then when the record gets retread on national TV and there's all the press conferences getting re-aired, all the things that Trump said back then, the tweets, it's all there. It's not even I would understand it if it was an opinion-based thing, but it's literally there, dude. It's fact.
And the word is Neanderthal. This Neanderthalic thinking where you can just oppress 18 to 22-year-olds and take their money from them because you want to is ridiculous. It's anti-American. It's not who we are as a country. Right? It's
why don't we just say, hey, let's say that I was a Trump supporter, right? If I was pro-Trump, if I had voted for dude twice and he was in this conundrum that he finds himself in, I would be saying, okay, well, you ran on transparency and letting everything out. Why aren't we letting this out? If you're a Trump supporter, are you not tired of talking about the Epstein thing? Let it all out. If there's nothing to hide, let it all out. What's the big deal? Right? But they're not. And that's what would have me worried. So
we're going after Jerome Powell. We're going after Barack Obama.
We're going after anybody you can to not talk about yourself. That's what you're doing.
I'm so worn out on it. And I want people to understand that The only way we fix this is to get back to being Americans. We have to find a way to unite. And we have to find a way to say, if this kid is good enough to play power conference football, why do we care if he's got a Manischewitz deal? Why do we care if he's got a Chevy deal? Why do we care? Why do we care? He is making us millions and millions of dollars. Why do we care if he makes money on his own? The biggest question should be, how do we keep him in college longer? How do we keep him? How do we keep Arch Manning at Texas for 2 more years? Because what you're going to do now is you're going to erode the talent base.
Yes.
You are going to send kids to the NFL the very second they're capable of it. And the Tim Tebow, Matt Leinart, stay in college, that's dead in my opinion. It's absolutely dead in my opinion. And I think we have to get away from this thought of, well, I'm not making as much money as he is, so let's take his money from him.
Like,
we've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop punishing. And I don't know when it started in this country. We've got to stop shaming rich people. We've got to stop shaming people who are able to make money. I don't care if you're 5, 15, or 55. If you can make as much money as possible, please do.
yeah.
Like, you look at what we're doing to the housing market in this country.
God, let's not even do that.
It is self-inflicted.
Bro. It's so bad.
It is self-inflicted. We refuse to build $300,000 houses because that's what poor people can afford. We're not building houses for poor people. Fuck them. We're building houses for millionaires who can afford mansions. So what's happening? Well, what's happening is, and this is exactly the problem in college sports right now, the middle class has disappeared in college sports. The very, 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 very elite athletes are getting paid, and they're getting paid well. The bottom of the barrel athlete, not getting paid. Getting a scholarship, not making money.
Does that sound familiar to you guys?
That's what it is in this country now. Right? Like it was cool to be Travis Hunter, and he's this neat guy, and it's all nice. But I truly think the Shedeur Sanders flamboyance, that's the exact example that roils the rich white guy that runs this country and runs college football. They don't want to see flamboyant young people with Rolex diamond crusted watches about to be first round picks in the NFL. They don't. I just think that we need to be Americans again.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like every time there's a major happening here, you look at the floods in Texas. Did you guys see this thing today with the floods in Texas? The guy in charge of telling people there was a flood coming in the middle of the rainstorm that was the heaviest downpour. Do you know what he was doing? What he does every night. He was in bed asleep. Not at work. They knew the storm was coming, not at work. But what have we done? The storm came. We lost dozens of these beautiful children in Texas. These young girls, like just dozens of children. And we blame Joe Biden for that? That's what we do in this country. We don't blame the guy who was in bed when the storm was, he was in bed. The guy was asleep when the storm had arrived and was at its peak. He was in bed asleep. Children were dying while he was sleeping. We blame Joe Biden for that. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? So that's where all of this comes from. I think it is all the same thing. Like this, Donald Trump getting his hands into the wallets and pocketbooks of college athletes is ridiculous. So one of the big questions, and I think this is really well said, one of the biggest questions I saw on talk radio today nationally, what does this do to the high school kid who's got NIL deals? Because now are we saying to high school kids, you can't have that lemonade stand? Are we saying to high school kids you cannot go and make an appearance at a car dealership? Are we saying to high school kids? Because you guys know these high school kids go on national television and announce where they're going to play football. And now that NIL's become a thing, people like Gatorade, people like FedEx, they're sponsoring the tables and the broadcasts on 247, on 3, ESPNU. And
why do we care?
The
why,
kids are
why
getting.
are we trying to get in the middle of that?
The kids are getting paid. The TV networks are getting paid, and it's really good for college, for those colleges. Are we I mean, that's got to be stopped, right? Because these kids in high school, if they're paid for their ability on the field, they're no longer amateurs. They're no longer amateurs. So are they ineligible to play college football now? Is that what we're saying? Like,
it's so ridiculous, dude.
I think it's a fascinating question. What does this do to the high school kid who gets to appear at Jimmy's restaurant in town and sign a bunch of t-shirts, and he wears a t-shirt to practice? He wears their t-shirt to school. He gives his friend Carl a $10 gift card that'll cover half of his meal at Jimmy's restaurant. Now that's illegal. Bro, it just gets out of hand. I feel like half of the problem in America are self-caused. All of them.
Yeah, most of them are.
All of them. Like there was a huge argument about the mortgage thing today. And one of the things that's so interesting, do you guys understand what's causing mortgage rate and mortgage rates? Donald Trump keeps saying mortgage rates are at their highest level ever. They're not half of, like, in the late 70s, I think they were at like 16%. We're not even half of that. But do you understand why they're not at 4, but they're at like 6 and 7? The national debt. Right? And here's the problem. I don't know how many people on the show even understand. They're all talking about how mortgage rates are going to follow the Fed rate. And when we cut the Fed rate to 2, it's at 4.25 or whatever. We cut it to 2. Mortgage rates will plummet. People will buy houses. Everything will be great. It's never happened in the history of the country.
Yeah, and what people want to argue is that, hey, well, if you cut the rate, because people will theoretically would have an easier time paying down debt and like
they'd have an easier time getting money, getting car loans, getting credit cards, getting theoretically mortgages. That's the argument people are making. Not that they would have more money. They wouldn't have more money. They would be able to acquire more debt. But what's the problem with that? Well, that's not how mortgage rates are levied. Mortgage rates are very, very heavily impacted by national debt and the yield on the 10-year note. Does anybody know what impacts the national debt and the yield on the 10-year note? Mortgage-backed securities. So what happened before the crash in 2008? Mortgage rates were super low. So strippers in Las Vegas, you had adult entertainers, strippers, who had 4 houses, boats, Ferrari. You had strippers with a boat, 4 houses, and a Ferrari. Defaulted on all of it. So now we change the way we look at mortgage-backed securities. So the mortgage rates are heavily, heavily, heavily influenced by mortgage-backed securities, which are heavily influenced by the 10-year note, which is heavily. The Fed isn't going to fix the mortgage problem because the mortgage-backed securities, what that means is, hey, here's 1,000 mortgages that are all super prime buyers, which means they're guaranteed. Those people have 850 credit, but they make more money selling subprime mortgages where it's like a 650 credit score. But those people can't get approved on anything that's over 500,000 because the mortgage payment is too high. They're 650 or below because they have a lot of credit card debt. They've probably had car repossessions. It doesn't work that way, man. It just does not. It does not work that way. Chewy Gonzalez, Toot Pants, it's not even D or R stance. It's a capitalist stance of building wealth. The issue is that elites want all of it for themselves. And our system currently favors super rich people. If you're somebody that works on tools, if you're somebody that, again, I know we have a ton of Amazon drivers that listen to the show. I have 3 UPS drivers that I know listen to the show that are going through terrible union buyouts right now. Right? Like, if you're that guy, the country's not here for you. It's not set up for you. But if you're a guy like Warren Buffett, if you're a guy like Jeff Bezos, if you're like Elon Musk, the super rich of the super rich, dude, it's here for you. It's making you money.
Yeah.
And not that I'm super rich, but I'm going to use that tax system to make me money. I have multiple business lines. I just bought a BMW using that tax system. That's how the country's set up.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I just think we get in trouble when we're like, when we make certain assertions about different situations, and that's the problem. Like, I hate to say it, but like we're not even really having discussions today or arguments today about the way things work. We're only having arguments and discussions about statements being made that are factually incorrect.
Yes.
Like, that's the problem.
Because we don't deal in fact anymore. We deal in spin.
Yeah.
Like the Obama treason thing. That's 100% spin. There is nothing there. Nothing there. And Tulsi Gabbard saying that Barack Obama should be put in handcuffs and hauled off to prison.
Good luck proving any of that, dude.
That's called, she's being hyperbolic. Hyperbole. That's talking to a fan base. Because it's not based in fact. And this thing with this executive order today, this will decimate college athletics if it actually gets, because what's going to happen, the executive order, and you guys probably don't care about this, but the executive order essentially commands Congress, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, to create committees to make this eventually at the end of the whole process law. So they're going to have committees on it. They're going to draft a bill. That bill is going to go to hearings to become law. That's what the executive order points at. And so you guys know as well as I do, it's going to look massively different at the end of it.
Yeah.
If it ever makes it there. Unless the NFL says you have to have a college diploma to play professionally, then they'll say you need a master's to be in the NFL. Pretty soon, you'll see Dr. Caleb Williams on the field. They're always, you guys ready? They're always moving the goalpost for what's acceptable and what's not. Like it just.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same conversation.
It is.
It's not unique to college football.
Over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And
it's
over
the
again.
Same thing.
John Blackwelder, people are scared to invest in the 10-year bonds because of the craziness with tariffs. 10 years go up, mortgages go up. Nobody seems to know that except the two of us, John. Because the messaging that this administration is putting out is that if we cut the Fed rate, because it's at 4.25, he wants to cut it to 2 immediately. Do you know how devastating to our economy that would be? Inflation would skyrocket, because what that does is what Jake said earlier. People will have access to credit now because money costs less. So you can get a better car loan. The problem is manufacturers won't lend that money on new cars. And why is that? There's a lot more risk in new cars, and they make more money on used car loans because the APR is much higher.
Let's be honest. What does lowering it actually result in? More bankruptcy,
more
debt, which leads to more bankruptcy, which leads to more poor credit scores being developed over the next 20 years, which is what nobody wants to talk about. 20 years from now, when we have a different president and a whole different, a whole other cast of players in Congress and all of that, we're still going to be dealing with the problems just like we are from prior administrations today.
100%.
And the difference, in my opinion, is that when you start playing with like Americans' ability to dig out of the hole, as I say, you're like, even if the economy looked great on paper, if people don't have buying power, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like even if there was a bunch of $300,000 starter houses, and even if
which
like there was a load of great cars to buy, which there's not, even if that were the case, if people can't buy them, who gives a damn? Like That's the problem. And again, it's a lot to ask a guy who was gifted his wealth to consider the perspective of the blue collar American.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
There's shocking. What are we talking about? Donald Trump, politics, and sports. And there's 13,000 people watching the show. People care.
Well, as
people
they should.
care.
And what doesn't get talked about is I think an extension of people care is like people are concerned. There's too much unknown right now.
Yeah. I was talking to my neighbor. We were looking at, there's a lot of houses for sale around us that are just so incredibly overpriced. It's why I don't live in a wealthy neighborhood. And the houses that are for sale here, $650,000, $700,000. You go 2 blocks up, $800,000 and $900,000 houses, and they're not selling. They're not selling.
But why would anyone expect them to sell right now? That's my question.
I would agree with that.
Why would you expect, if you're in that bracket, right? If you were fortunate enough to have built a life to where you could afford that kind of house, and now you're looking to move that property, dude, if I'm a real estate agent right now, I'm telling people, don't expect this to sell for at least like 6-8 months. Like, it's going to take time.
Because if I'm buying a house right now, I'm looking for a house that's been on the market 120,
at least
180,
right? Like
120 days, 180 days, 6 months. And I'm going to make an offer substantially below list. I'm going to make an offer that is based on the actual real world value of that house. And if they say no, they say no. It's just the way the world works. For the athletes in high school, this is going to affect, but the business itself will be affected because the athlete is bringing that revenue during an event like National Signing Day. Yeah. And then I say, look at the tariffs. The tariffs that are in place, that's what's preventing people from doing commerce. That's why you're seeing a lot of people are unsure. And I think it's going to be a minute. The pool of cash ready to be borrowed is a set supply. Mortgages, car loan, government debt are all demand on that supply. More demand drives up the price of that supply. And it's just, everything's flipped now, mainly because of the tariffs and the new tax plan. Everything is flipped. So you're seeing when people don't understand the system, they don't use the system.
Nope.
So nothing is moving.
And it's one of the most complex tax systems in the world. And
again, not that I'm going to tell you, but the deal I got on this BMW I bought tells you new cars, especially luxuries, are not selling. And I'm happy about it because I got a great deal on mine. I'm thrilled with it.
That's the problem. It's we're at extremes right now. The super prime buyer, the 850 credit with, the ability to put 50 G's down, you have all kinds of opportunity. It's just loads of opportunity, cars, like all kinds of stuff that you can borrow on if you want to, because there's not a lot of borrowers out there right now. So if you have inventory of whatever product, cars, whatever it might be, you're going to be loosening up those terms for people that will pay, because you need that. Honestly, you need that. But yes. I'm just telling you, the super prime buyer is not the person we should be talking about.
Not at all.
I don't care about the person that's got amazing credit and has huge buying power. The person we need to care about is the millennial who's in $150,000 worth of debt from college to get a degree that is of no use for them in this climate, and they can't buy anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hard part.
I agree. Like the example you guys mentioned years ago, that there should be, quote, starter homes being built instead of $10 million mansions.
Yeah, we're too busy thinking about the person who's able to buy right now.
Yes.
Instead of the person in 10 years who's going to need to buy and they won't be able to. Like that, I'm telling you, we're like people. I was thinking about this yesterday after the show. Like, millennials are not in a great spot, but everyone behind us is in a worse spot. Because they can't.
I don't even want to talk about that.
They can't build at all.
What do you say to a high school junior right now?
Like, good luck, dude.
Who's shopping for colleges, And not a football player.
Bro,
I just mean a dude.
I would not encourage my kid to go to college right now. I would encourage them to get educated on how to build a business. That's what I would do.
If I had a young person right now, I'd be teaching them e-commerce.
Yeah.
I'd be teaching them e-commerce.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Johnny Gonzalez, I don't know. I just can't sell what you're buying because of the capital gains. But here's the thing. You're able to manipulate your capital gains now because of the tax code. You can reinvest it. You can move it. You can hide it. There's ways to do that.
Yeah.
You just have to understand. You got to have somebody who understands it. And this is to your point. How many millennials can afford a really good accountant? How many millennials can afford
How many
a financial advisor?
That they need one.
Almost none.
Almost none.
That's the hard part. John Hamm. If any young people on here want wealth, put as much as you can every month into S&P fund and don't live beyond your means. It's not easy to build wealth. It's not easy to build wealth at all, because what that says is you don't understand the current situation of millennials. If you have student loan debt, you don't know what an S&P fund is. You don't, because you are saddled in debt. You're not doing 401ks. You're not doing Roth IRAs. You're not doing, mutual funds. You're not doing that because you can't afford to take a penny out of your paycheck because you're working for somebody. If you've got $100,000 in student loan debt, you have a job because you cannot miss those payments because they will come for your ass. Once your deferrals are over, you miss those payments, it decimates your credit and they cripple your ability to grow your wealth. And the student loan debt in this country is terrifying. It is. If you are a millennial and you have the ability to I would agree the S&P is great right now. I would agree that you should be buying things like the run that Amazon stock is on right now. Unbelievable run, right? Go buy Amazon. Why is that though? Oh, because it's an e-commerce company. What did I tell you 5 minutes ago? Go get into e-commerce. Mm-hmm. You have to be in a position where you are building wealth for yourself. The problem is we have to have a paycheck because we are saddled with credit card debt. Because what's the other thing that happens when a kid takes a student loan? What is their actual college life like? If you're taking a student loan, your parents probably aren't paying your tuition. You probably have a credit card, so you're in credit card debt. So you get out of college, can you find a job right now? Probably not. So are you a barista at Starbucks? Are you a package handler this holiday season at UPS, FedEx, Amazon? Probably. That's probably what you're doing. Because if you unless you get a master's or an MBA, the job market's not coming to you. Right? So if you're getting a bachelor's, you're going to have a tough time finding a job. It's not going to be easy. Chewy, they'll threaten to leave and let them hope they stay international waters and pirates get them. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that means. I am unsure. Two Pants, speaking of supply demand, the supply of affordable homes is not growing. As the population grows, demand grows. More demand drives up price of that set supply. We need more supply of homes. We need more supply of affordable homes. I agree. We have a housing shortage, affordable housing shortage. Has anybody checked the Section 8 population in this country? Because that population's growing. That means that they're on government-assisted housing. Who owns the Section 8 houses? You think the government owns Section 8 houses? Billionaires own Section 8 houses. You guys realize? I don't know how many people realize that. Section 8 is an investment category, and hedge funds and millionaires invest in Section 8 housing. They'll never even go see that housing. They'll buy an eight square, right? They'll buy a duplex, a multiplex, an 8-unit building, whatever. And it's all Section 8. They'll never go there. They'll never see it. They have somebody that manages it for them, and they just get a deposit every month. And then in about 3 years, a hedge fund is going to buy that from them, and they are going to make probably 16 to 20 for every one that they spent on it. And if you're really smart, here's how you manipulate the system. And this is what I bring this up because this is what's hurting millennials right now. Even Section 8 housing, which is where the government helps pay your rent, they buy it with cash, like investors. I'm in an investor group online. One of the major ways these guys are absolutely printing money, they buy it at this deal that I saw online today. This guy bought a fourplex for $625,000. Cash. He paid cash for it. He mortgaged it at $1.1 million because that's its real true value. His ability, he can put a mortgage on it. And let's just call it $1 million for round numbers. So you paid $625,000 for it. Then you got a mortgage for $1 million. He just put $375,000 in his pocket. His note on that mortgage every month is $6,700, I believe it was. Do you know what he's making on that building every month? He's making $11,000 on that building every month. Do you see what I'm saying? When you say, oh, hey, we need more, no, we need affordable housing so people don't have to go to Section 8 and rent from predators. And then, it's usually the cycle is between 3 and 5 years down the road, a hedge fund will buy that piece of property from him and he will make significantly more money because at that point, he'll have a solid, stable rental history with all of those units rented. And this guy, I think, owns almost 100 of those. He's like the guy in this group. And he does it repeatedly. Pay cash, mortgage it for almost double, cash flow it, sell it to a hedge fund. Because there are hedge funds out there that solicit deals on those every day. That's the problem right now. Do you see how crazy that is?
Yeah.
That's the problem right now. If you're a millennial, that's got to be crushing to hear that. Because how long will it take you to get there? Because most millennials don't have that bread. Nor do they have Calford's bread, who gives us 20 Monty Show memberships. Thank you, Calford. Always appreciate you. Always appreciate you, my friend. Big Pontiff says you can't just write off debt. That's why the government had to do bailouts. Because if those companies go down, the government wouldn't be far behind. I would agree with that. Whoa, what happened there? Comment dump. Writing off debt would be the answer if the government wasn't captured by donor class. What are you guys talking about here? Where did this come from? Section 8, BlackRock, a lot of them. But just like BlackRock. Section 8's a racket in this country, you guys. Like, it's rich guys who don't ever get off their office chair. And they do these deals. Like, in this group that I'm in online, it's every day they're posting, hey, Section 8, here's the cost. Like, here's a fourplex, here's an eightplex, here's one of the best deals that's come out of there. Two buildings with 8 units each sitting right next to each other. Every one of them has a garage, right? So they're talking about, okay, here's how we formulated this rent. Half the units are 2 bedrooms. The other half are one bedroom, 1 bathroom, right? They all have garage, like all this, but no swimming pools, no green spaces, none of that. And they're just printing money on it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Gabriel, so that explains why Section 8 housing is in crisis it's at right now. It's printing money for millionaires. Yeah, it truly is.
Crisis, I would be curious what you mean by crisis.
They're building more Section 8. You understand that, right? Because the hedge funds are making a killing on this, they're putting money into buying land and building Section 8 housing. Like, I mean, yeah, Brandon. Yeah. In Utah, you can't go a mile without seeing a new condo building. You go look downtown, guys like Ryan Smith. You want to bet he puts condos around his stuff? Yeah, they will. In Utah, we have hundreds of condos going up on every damn corner. They sit empty because no one can afford it. Developers want the mortgage rates to drop because they are losing money. And they're not. We don't need more condos.
Nope.
We don't need more apartments. We need affordable housing. We need $300,000 units. I'm a contractor trying to build my first spec home. I can't compete with big builders. I won't make anything. I have to build 800,000 or higher to make money. Yeah, it's rough because you can't build a house affordably for $100,000 that you can sell for $300,000 so you can make 3 to 1. Pay your guys, pay your insurance, pay all your overhead. What are you netting on a $300,000 sale price? You know what you're netting? Not enough. It's tough. I totally get that. Totally get that. It's rough. Whoa. Gabriel, millennials and Gen Z are in a bad spot right now. And we need the cycle to flip over because that's what's going to do it. And donuts, multifamily apartments typically have a 7-year ROI. It's insane. It is a really short cycle.
Yeah.
Really short cycle. And it all depends on what you're buying the land for and what you're buying the unit. The deal is what you make and break, right? Most millennials nowadays are choosing to stay with their parents, not only because they have them, because they themselves can't afford to live on their own, but it's getting difficult for their parents to make it too. I don't even disagree with that. And I think that's the other thing we got to stop doing. Stop shaming people that stay at home. Like if it's mutually beneficial, why do we care if you live at home? I always used to tell Jake, don't move out until you absolutely can't stand it anymore. You should stay at home as long as you can. I'm married and we still need a roommate.
Yeah, I think, the problem is that that's all fine and dandy of like, hey, stay home as long as you can. But I think that we're taking it too far for people our age. I mean, just listen, you stay at home through your mid-20s. I'm down with that, right? Like have a plan, like of course. But if you're over 30, you should not be living at home. Like that's not.
You shouldn't have to live at home.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. And we do this thing where we want to say, oh well, millennials are in a bad spot, and I agree, we are in a bad spot. We have a lot of debt. We don't have a lot of advantages right now. That's the climate. But the problem is that millennials are going to say, oh well, I'm still living at home. I'm going to try and make a play, but you're not doing anything with it. You're not taking advantage of not paying rent. You're. Like that's my problem with it is it's like, cool, stay home, but you're not doing anything with it and you're not building it all. Like you've got just cause, don't ask me why, but like I follow a bunch of these secondary car dealers who TikTok all their calls with these people who have really rough credit. And these people are calling in thinking that they can afford German. And they've got this one guy had like a 520 credit score. Like that's not happening for you, bro. And the problem is when nobody tells younger people, it's like, dude, you need to start building credit as soon as possible in your life, at like literally as soon as possible.
If I could go back and reparent, I would have made my child open a credit card at 16. I would have bought 1 tank of gas on that thing a month and just paid it. And I would absolutely have I would have gotten you a credit card. I would have gotten you an E-Trade account. I mean, there's just so many things I would have done differently. I would have absolutely made you get a job. Like I'd have done so many things differently. But the problem is at the time it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Life was not difficult. And now if you have even like a 10-year-old, you got to start talking about money now. You got to start teaching them. You got to start teaching them skills. You got to start teaching them how to communicate. And I know it's crazy. When you go to pay your bills, show them your credit card statement. Hey, this is how credit cards work. Like educate them, teach them, make them get a job. They're 10 years old, Monty. Cut the grass. Hey, I'm going to put $20 in your bank. And it's one of the smartest things I heard. Oh man, the Shark Tank guy. I can't think of his name.
Cuban.
No. The white guy, the bald guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'll get it.
But he was talking on a radio show, and they just came up with this idea about, hey, have the kid cut the lawn, pay him $20, Put it in a glass jar.
O'Leary.
Yes.
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. Put it in a glass jar so he can see that $20 every time he cuts the lawn. Don't give it to him. Tell him, hey, when this gets to $100, when this gets to $1,000, I'm gonna show you something really special. And you open up an E-Trade account. And they're going to, oh, well, that's boring. No. It's not about boring. It's about teaching them how to be a successful human being. I went out, I worked hard, and then we opened up an E-Trade account with $1,000, let's say, whatever your dollar amount happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's going to suck, and the kid's probably not going to be enthusiastic about it, but you have to teach them to be enthusiastic about it.
It's your job.
You also have to teach them how to have fun, go play sports, go play golf, go play baseball. Go sleep over at your friend's house, have your friends sleep over at our house, make your home warm and welcoming, but they got to cut the grass. One of the things we used to fight about when Jake was younger is he never wanted to do chores, ever. Typical, never wanted to do chores. Never. You got to make them do chores. Got to make them clean the pool, cut the grass. You have nice things, make them understand that they have to work for that.
The problem is that there was no incentive to do those things. So there was never the issue is that we don't say to a kid, hey, well, hey, I want you to mow the lawn or whatever it is, right? Hey, I want you to do this thing, but here's why you want to do this thing. And here, like laying that out and building the mental thought of, hey, well, if I put work in and I earn a certain amount for that work, how long will it take me to get the thing I want to get? And then compounding that.
But the problem is you can't have the thing you want to get be an Xbox.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So you have to change that and get them to understand that. But we didn't do that back then because we didn't feel the need to.
Yeah, it was easy.
You know,
it was easy.
It's time and space, bro. It's time and space. But what I'm telling you,
no, the answer is not to write off the debt. The answer is not you can't just bankruptcy your way out of irresponsibility. That's not the answer. Because what happens when you write off debt? It falls on everybody else. When you try to, why can't you bankrupt federal loans? Right? Like, why can't you? Because it falls on everybody else. Why can't you write off tax debt? Because it falls on everybody else. I agree that a lot of people are in financial holes that largely are not their making. There is skill and understanding to get out of those financial holes.
Yes.
Writing off debt is not the answer. It is, again, and I don't know where you get that idea, like bankruptcy. Bankruptcy should be a last tragic, terrible ending. It should not be, well, I'm just going to hang there are so many people in this world who'll be like, yeah, I'm going to take this car. I'm going to file bankruptcy in 5 years anyway. Like, come on, man. Come on. You can't do that. If Mr. Wonderful, it's Mr. Wonderful, not Mr. Terrific or Mr. Fabulous. Okay. E-Trade account, get the kid a PS5. Exactly. Eric Wasikowski, if you write off debt, just goes to someone else to collect. Holy cow.
Wait, hold on. Is this happening right now?
Did you just use common sense?
Wait, I don't think this is a real moment on the program that this just happened. That you and Eric have agreed upon something. I mean, I'm not sure that this is even real. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of problems with writing off debt. Love Muscle, no E-Trade, Vanguard, Roth IRA, total stock market index fund until they have 100K, keeps expenses low. Sure. Great. I love that. I absolutely love that. My rule of thumb, assets should double every 7 years. You would love to, right? You would love to. 100% agree with Jake. When I become a parent one day, well, I always want to teach my kid that working hard gets your rewards. Get good grades, get a reward, do chores, get a reward, no work, no reward. I agree 100%. Phenomenal Hebrew. If you don't want to write off the debt, you should at least write off all college loan. No, you shouldn't. You know how you fix the student loan problem? Understanding. Not every kid
Let me guess, you
should
have
go to
student
college.
loan debt, right? I'm assuming you have debt.
I think the student loan system in this country is 100% broken. And we hung people in the student debt. And Joe Biden tried to fix that. Donald Trump eliminated it. I'm telling you now, I agree, we need to revamp and fix the student loan situation here. You cannot write off student loan debt. And there are instances where it should be forgiven. I totally agree with that. You cannot write off student loan debt. You made a decision. It's time to be accountable for your decision. You cannot write off credit cards. You didn't want to write off that credit card when you bought that regrettable tattoo, or when you bought that PS5. You didn't want to write that off, did you? Well, we all make decisions. At some point, we have to be accountable. But if you want to be accountable, educate yourself for the risk of what student loans are. It's why the adjustable arm mortgage was one of the worst products in the history of this country, because nobody understood what an adjustable arm was. That's where, for the first 5 years, your mortgage rate's 3%, and then it goes up to 27%, and your payment goes from $2,000 to $20,000. Remember that? That's because people weren't educated. Oh, I got a 5-bedroom house. Cool. Where do I sign? Educate yourself. Be accountable. Big Pun, if my kids still live at home, they are responsible for one utility and some rent. They are learning to manage their debt, so when they move out, they will never come home. That's what I'm saying. Call your local bank or lawyer and have them give you an advice. That's what I'm saying. If you're in trouble, breaking news. Eric Wasikowski and Uncle Monty have reached an agreement.
I mean, it's really
it is shocking,
dude.
It is shocking.
It's the fucking vernal equinox.
It is shocking.
I mean, I don't know that it's ever happened in the history of this program.
The thing is, you guys, we've got to get away from, I think about the USC scandal. You guys remember the enrollment scandal at USC? Hey, I'm famous. Here's a bunch of money. Put my kid on the rowing team, even though they have no idea and they will never be on the rowing team. But that's going to get him a scholarship. You're going to make X amount of money. My kid's going to get a USC education. They're going to skip the line. We've got to stop that. Right? We've got to put things in place, and it's us as parents. Stop asking the government. We were supposed to be shrinking government, even though we're not. But stop asking the government to help you. Everything's on YouTube. You want to understand how an adjustable rate mortgage works? You want to understand credit card, student loan debt? It's all on YouTube. Educate yourself so you can educate your kids. Stop asking for handouts so you can go bankrupt. There's no joy in that. There's no joy in it. Celebrate your children's hard work and the success they've earned. They will never forget those moments. There's truth in that. But you got to educate them. We as parents, it was all good when we were smashing, and then we had a kid, and all of a sudden, I'm too busy. I got to go to work. You're not too busy. You weren't too busy to make a kid. Now you can't be too busy to parent a kid because they're counting on you, right? They're counting on you. Working with kids with student loans. They work in public service or military before they get a loan forgiveness. I'm here for it. I think
that there's value in that conversation. Hey, we're not just going to forgive your loans on merit alone. We're not just going to say, well, you can't pay for it. So we're not doing that. But I agree. Hey, if you're going to go and serve this country, that's a different conversation, right? That's a different conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Phenomenal Hebrew. I don't have any debt, but good luck paying off those debts because you're all about to get austerity pain. There's no pain, dude. It is really difficult to pay off debt. You have to have multiple streams of income to get out of debt.
No, I agree with that. What you have to do is be able to say, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z for a while. You have to be disciplined. I'm not going to take a vacation for as long as it takes to get this debt off, a year or 2 years, whatever it is. I'm not going to, for 6 months, I'm not going to eat out. I'm going to only, you have to be disciplined that way to get out.
I will never forget 2 incidents in my life that changed my financial outlook forever. I had a car repossessed when I was 20. It crushed me. Absolutely. And the worst part was it didn't get repossessed because I couldn't pay for it. I just didn't make a car payment. And then I didn't make another car payment. And then I was never home, so I never got phone. This was back in the day when you didn't have cell phones. Never got the phone call, never got the mail. One day I walked out, honest to God, one day I walked out of work at a mall and my car was gone. I thought it had been stolen. I went to report it to my insurance company and they said, you need to call your lender. I will never forget the conversation. Called my lender, they repossessed my car. Heartbreaking. I just simply didn't know what I was doing, right? And then the other repossession conversation, I completely flipped around and I was working at a company called Deutsche Bank. And my job was to stop from customers at Deutsche Bank on premium vehicles, so Porsche, Audi, to Volkswagen, to stop them from going to repossession. I will never forget talking to a woman who had a Porsche, who, if she missed her car payment, they were going to repossess her car. And she said, well, I'm going on vacation in 2 days. I'll pay for it with my paycheck after I get back from vacation. And she went on vacation. Her car was gone when she got back because it's not my fault you didn't put it in the garage. That changed me forever. And when you said you got to stop taking vacations, it's like, ding, I will never.
You have to be disciplined with your spending.
And Deutsche Bank, Bannockburn, Illinois, it changed the way I look at debt and cars. It's just wild to me. The way people just don't care, right? Like they just don't care. I want to be able to live on a fixed income if needed. I never want to be on a fixed income. I am working as hard as I am working right now. Again, I'm working multiple angles simply so I'll never be on a fixed income. I'm not the guy who wants a paycheck. I don't ever want to be reliant on a paycheck or somebody else's system or Social Security. Nah, bro. Retirement? Nah. I'm never going. My hope is I never retire. From the business I am building now, I hope I never retire from it. Because trust me when I say I'm not going to have to work in that business the rest of my life. And that's crazy to me. San Diego State, Mike. What's up, Mike? Live in San Diego and retired at 52. I'm 57 now. And San Diego is not cheap. You're retiring at 52. That's pretty remarkable. That's pretty remarkable. All right. A couple other things I want to get to. We did not get to you. We did not get to North Carolina leaving the ACC. Do you think they leave the ACC?
Eventually, but I don't think it's for the SEC. I think they'll want to be in the Big Ten.
I think that's the case. I think North Carolina is having conversations. We've reported this exact thing on our show many, many months ago. I can tell you the Big 12 has had conversations with North Carolina directly. I don't think it's an option. I think North Carolina is a massively valuable brand. And if they wanted to join the SEC, they could. I have no doubt about that. But I think North Carolina and North Carolina State are not tied at the hip. They are not a package deal. Because they don't often operate in sync. And I think North Carolina and Duke are far more of a package deal because they understand that they're better together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Big Ten is where they belong. The SEC.
I don't see either of them as an SEC brand.
I would agree with that.
I just think they're such a better fit for the Big Ten.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't see the SEC. Because I don't think the SEC wants to hand somebody uneven revenue sharing. And it would take uneven revenue sharing to get North Carolina and Duke.
Yeah. And
I think the Big Ten would be thrilled because they immediately become one of the premier basketball conferences in the country. And my opinion is this is 2028 at the earliest because they all have an agreement to stay in the league through 2027. So I think this is far into the future. But we'll talk a lot more about it on Monday. As always, the Monty Show presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365. It won't cost you a dime. You can talk to an injury attorney, not an AI chatbot. No, a live human being. An injury attorney is ready to serve you at The Advocates, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. You never pay out of pocket. You'll pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.